What did we just watch? What did we just watch for the last 3 hours and 45 minutes? This is what we watched. Bam! A Florida State victory. Unbelievable game. The highs and lows of college football. Man, everything we love about it, everything we hate about it, was all on display over the last 3 hours and 45 minutes. The Noles win. You are watching the Warchant.com post-game show right here. I need a hand from you folks who are watching right now. I need a hand right now. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. We know you're happy. Just get that out of the way.
Hit the win. Right now. Hit that button.
The subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Those are the housekeeping details. We know you're happy, so hit that like button. Now to the fun stuff. Gene Williams, founder and administrator of Warchant.com, right here on the Warchant Postgame Show. What are you drinking tonight, sir?
We're going to pop open a little Midnight at the Oasis from our friends at Oyster City, and this is a bourbon-barreled Hooter Brown. Now, a little over 10% on the ABV, so I mean, this is going to get me good and lit. No doubt tonight, man. This is just freaking fantastic, Tom. It's just like you said, the emotions. I mean, that's how this series is, man. The up and down. I mean, I thought Florida State's going to roll, but then you hold your breath, and all of a sudden, everything goes to shit in the second half, and you're convinced they're not going to win. They fell on 8. Everything was going against them. It seemed like all the life got sucked out of them, and they get to stop a little drive, get the field goal. Which again, I'm like, at the time, I'm thinking, Mike Norvell, you're way down there. You're not going for it. And now you do? And now you kick the field goal? What are we doing here?
Man.
And then, oh my God. And then the fourth. How many times has Miami done that crap where they pull out a 4th and 14 out of their ass to beat Florida State? That's happened time and time in this series. I mean, really, Tom, what were your thoughts at 4th and 14? Did you really think?
It was, you have 2 timeouts. You're going to get the ball with like 10 seconds, maybe a Hail Mary if you can stop them. But that's if you can stop them. I wasn't thinking about first down. I certainly wasn't thinking about Andrew Parchment being
of all the people. That was one of the worst. We've had some bad plays this season, but him giving up on that play was one of the worst plays. And there's been a lot of them by a player, a loafing play. I'll ask you, was he talking crap to the Miami player or was he yelling at the official? I mean, he completely wasn't paying attention to the play.
I don't even want to begin to try and figure out what the hell happened.
Maybe post-game they'll ask him what was going on there.
But to steal a line from Dumb and Dumber, he totally redeemed himself on the 4th and 14. So for me, the answer, we were at Corner Pocket last night, and they had a kilt night where they had a scotch tasting. So in that ilk, out comes the Lafroig. It's the Lafroig Cardias. It is delicious. A single malt. It's a little peaty and smoky, a little bit smoother than its Lafroig brethren. But cheers, Gene. I drink it neat. That's the way you do this.
That's how you do it.
Drink your single malts neat. So now it's poured.
Well, let's cheer to the win, Tom. Let's do a little virtual.
There it is. Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
All the fans out there who hung with us.
Yeah.
You're out there. Thank you so much for your support and all you do. Man, it's been rough. Here's the other thing I was thinking too. I mean, we've talked it seems like all those 6 losses. What was the refrain we talked about, Tom? This team doesn't give up. It fights, but it always felt hollow. You're like, at least they're not giving up. They're fighting. They're coming back when things are going against them. Finally, that mindset, that toughness, it worked in their favor. Got them a win against maybe their biggest rival and maybe the most important game in Mike Norvell's tenure at Florida State. This changes so much. Beating a rival, you've got a legitimate win now against a rival who is hot as balls, and they were still in the running for that freaking Coastal Division. But no, you're not winning the ACC again. Suck on that.
Yeah, that's right. The All Canes Conference is still waiting for its overlord. It's been, I think I couldn't drive when they joined the conference. So that's also the goal of the Warchant postgame.
I think I was in college. That's how long ago it was.
Is to just lock it down where we are. If you need to go anywhere, make sure you get a rideshare service, everybody. Joshua, thank you so much for your support.
Thank you.
20 to us and 11 for Jermaine Johnson. Isn't that so true, man? This is before I get into everybody and I see all these comments and I see these contributions and we're so thankful to each and every one of you. Jermaine Johnson, man. Jermaine Johnson. This is a group that I'm so happy for. He is a player that I'm so happy for. And all of this happened before the future Florida State Seminoles, Tribe 22, the class of 22. They were treated to an unbelievable game. We thought that there was going to be a sour taste left in everybody's mouth and maybe we'd have to sit and wait for some hard questions to be answered by these recruits, Gene. Then out of nowhere, Jordan Travis hits Ja'Kai Douglas on a bomb. Florida State's in position near the red zone. It gets down to a 4th and 14. We've got highlights for you, but what a show we put on.
And of all the people, oh my gosh.
I'm so happy for this roster. They fight their asses off. They're not good enough to win a lot of games, but they were good enough to win today. They were good enough to beat their rival. So I'm happy for them, but then I'm also really happy for the future because those kids that were here today, they might have been here for Notre Dame and they saw a similar Doak Campbell Stadium, a really close matchup, but the result wasn't with the gold helmet with the spear on it in victory. It was today.
And this means more when there's that team with the whatever it is on the other side, this little thing on the other side. It means a lot more in recruiting when you beat them.
Yes.
Big time for that. I got to go back about what Jermaine did. Oh, Willie. There we go.
There's a little trick for you. I got tricks, Gene.
My man, Jermaine. You got the stats? You got stat broadcast handy, Tom? Because you got to look at the stat line on this.
Yep, I'll pull up the defense. Just bear with me.
Man. My man, Jermaine. I mean, that dude, I felt so good for him because you know what? He made himself a lot of freaking money. He already did the way he's played this season. 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss.
Yes.
And even what I love, the final play that gave Florida State the chance to come back and win it, and you saw that's a hustle play. 2 guys, defensive backs. I hope that's a big tight end they're trying to hold. Who knows? He might have pushed ahead for a first down. Jermaine runs the field and knocks him on his ass. Goes, not on my watch. No, sir. You go down. We get the ball back. I'm giving my quarterback a chance to win this game.
In fact, Gene, let me roll the footage then because that play is one of the plays from tonight's highlights. So here they are.
All right, guys,
There's our guy. This was back in the first half. Remember the first half when the sun was out? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Here's Jermaine Johnson forcing a fumble. It was ruled that the play stands as called. Here's the clip from behind the quarterback where you can kind of see. Yeah, that ball's coming out loose before his arm. There's no control there. So Florida State, one of 3 turnovers in the first half for the Seminoles defense. We cut out the others. Here's a hit from Akeem.
Boom!
Oh my goodness!
It wasn't quite Stanford Samuels, but it was pretty damn good from Dent. I like even RG3 had a couple good one-liners. I think he said he put a dent in him on that one.
He did. Now we flash forward. The lights are on. This game has gone completely freaking haywire. It was 20-7. Miami puts on a 21-0 run. Florida State's losing. We kick a field goal. It's 28-23. 3rd and 4. This is the play you're talking about, Gene. And I kept this clip right here because they had Jermaine before the play started. They know that he was taking over the game for Florida State, and he had to be a playmaker. We didn't know that he'd pursue like this because I want you to watch. Look where he is on the line of scrimmage.
Oh, yep. Wow.
He's all the way lined up against the right tackle. Here it comes. Huge play in this game. Look at the pursuit from 11. Look at him. He doesn't give up. No, sir. He finishes the play, puts Miami in a 4th and 2. Given the way Manny Diaz rolled the dice earlier, if that's a 4th and 1, Manny might be crazy enough to go for it. And instead, Jermaine finishes the play. I think we need to watch that again.
Yeah.
This is about heart, effort, buy-in, culture, and also being a game breaker. This dude is going to get rich because of what he's done.
NFL scouts, this is going to be on his scouting reel. The NFL scouts are right now going, I think he's got himself a first-round draft grade, the way he's played this season in this game.
Oh, my goodness. And here's Jordan Travis. He's not sure what he's seeing yet, but I know what we're about to see. It's a big play.
Set it up.
Here it comes. This is Ja'Kai Douglas lined up in the slot. Yeah, he's right. You ready to go, Jordan? I'm ready to go. Ja'Kai Douglas in the slot by the Bobby hat right now. Wins a one-on-one. Excellent move. And he's up. Man, what a throw that is.
And he almost ran by him. Are you almost thinking, I don't know if I want him to run by him because I don't want to give him the ball back with 2 minutes left.
Well, the way we were in the red zone earlier, I was like, score.
Well, yeah, you're right. I would have taken it, but part of me was thinking, hey, it'd be nice to run out the clock and score.
But there it is. That's a one-on-one matchup, a win.
He was pulling away, yeah.
And again, that's on the heels before we go to the next play. That is on the heels of Andrew Parchment being wide the F open.
Oh, man.
Outside the numbers, and for whatever reason, he didn't come down with the football. So you make the play. That's 2 dimes by Jordan to that side of the field, back-to-back drives. Now we're in business. Then, unfortunately, things get mucked up a little bit. I said muck with an M, even though we can say whatever we want here in the Warchant Postgame Show. And now we're facing 4th and 14. And yes, young lady, I feel just like you did.
Here we go, guys. This is it. 4th and 14.
4th and 14.
He rips that in there.
Oh, man. There was decisiveness on that throw.
Yes.
Now, I did get greedy here, Gene, with Andrew Parchment, who totally redeemed himself.
Yeah.
When I was hoping the replay would show him short. I was hoping the replay would. Because at that point, come on. If you can't get in from an inch and you lose to Miami.
4 plays,
then, you know what? Then we just shut the whole thing down. Turn the lights off. Let's go. Let the recruits go where they want to go. At that point, it was, hey, now you got to have them use their assets, their timeouts. You can run the clock down. That we didn't score on 1st and goal, I thought was really important. And here's the final play. It's kind of anticlimactic, except it's not, because it's the winning score against your rival. Florida State's going nuts after the catch by Parchment. But here we are on the goal line. Great camera work here from ESPN. And a little help from his friends, the Reggie.
Yep, there you go.
And there's the line judge. Boom. It happened. Folks, what you just watched actually happened. Florida State was up 20-7, absolutely controlled this game, had the ball for 20 minutes in the first half, gave up that lead. I had a couple of plays isolated, Gene, for key moments and turning points why Miami was going to win, but we just threw those in the trash bin. Miami goes on a 21-0 run. We respond, finish the game on an 11-0 run. The streak for Miami is over. They cannot win the ACC. The hopes for a bowl bid are alive for Florida State. Go ahead, Gene. I've been talking for a while now. You go ahead with your thoughts.
Hail, Dorothy. The Wicked Witch is dead. I'm out.
We've got a lot.
Like I said, I just think this is so monumental for this program. I mean, I was just, as they were down 8 and things were looking a little bleak there in the fourth quarter, I'm thinking, man, there's going to be so many questions in the offseason, assuming they couldn't, maybe they only beat BC and lose to Florida, however they finish up. But I was just thinking, it's going to be rough in the offseason because people are going to be starting to call. I saw some threads on the message board, fire Norvell and all this, but he wouldn't be fired, but it would have gone into probably his hot seat season.
Yeah.
And that does not do well for recruiting.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter. I mean, they've held on to the key of this class even through Jacksonville State. So I think they're pretty safe in keeping the core of that class together. But at the end of the day, it's hard to build when a coach is on that hot of a seat. And you and I have seen the improvement, Tom. We see it on the field all season long.
Yes.
The team is much more competent. They fight harder. They've been in every single game. And they can move the ball when Jordan's in it. They move the ball there. And we've seen the defensive improvement. And we saw it today, other than a little bit of a meltdown really in the third quarter.
Yep.
When things got away from you, you had a crazy tip pass. You fumbled it in your own end. I mean, this was the hottest offensive team in the ACC.
Yeah,
I mean, they were just tearing teams apart. So we've seen the improvement across the board. I go, if that improvement doesn't start showing up in the wins, it's not going to matter. You're not going to sell tickets. It's going to hurt recruiting. It's going to be hard to get kids to transfer in here. And I think it gives and it validates even more when they do this. The players, it validates what Mike Norris is doing, what's happening in practice. This does work. We now not only see the improvement in our eyes, the fans are seeing it when they go to class, when they call from their parents or they go home. They're getting that affirmation now. Man, you guys are on the way up, man. Mike Norvell's got things going on there. Oh, and I heard you have a top 15 recruiting class. I hear you got the number 1 recruit in the nation coming in, and you got this hotshot transfer coming in and all this, and it builds. Plus, right now, with everything that's going on in Florida, did you see that halftime score of Sanford in Miami or Florida? I mean, what in the world? They're quitting on him. Yes. And Miami now, this state is up for grabs. And it reminds me so much of when Jimbo came in here and took over recruiting, got the LaMarcus Joyners, got, the Telvins, those kind of guys to come in and change not only the culture, which he changed, but change that talent base. I think the culture is kind of where you want it to be right now, but there's still some huge gaps in talent at certain positions, and you got to do that through recruiting. So now the foundation's been laid for Mike Norvell and that staff to go out and get those recruits and get Florida State to that next level. They start going to decent bowl games and then maybe being in contention to be in the playoffs in a couple of years.
Yeah, it's all before you now. And I can't imagine, we saw the clips. I don't know if they were allowed to or not. I think it was Jarvis Brownlee on Instagram, but we saw the clips after the win at North Carolina, that locker room. I can't imagine what that locker room is like right now. And with those recruits, they get to walk into that locker room right now and see that and see how much these players care for each other, the culture, all the feel-good stuff. Gene, you're right. At some point, those are the 3 magic words. At some point, right? You got to win games and prove it. Well, today you can sell the warm and fuzzies because you won the game. You came back and you responded. Everything that Mike talks about, all the cliches, response, things like that. That's what you saw. At 28-20, this team didn't pack it in. They didn't give it up. And now you have a signature win. Yes, that's going to be replaced, if you're going where you're supposed to go, by a bunch more wins that are for much higher stakes. But if you want to get to that place while you're employed at Florida State, if you're Mike Norvell, you got to have a win like we got tonight. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
And it's not just North Carolina. The whole thing is, they can beat North Carolina, but they can't beat anybody else with a pulse.
Right, exactly.
Basically. Well, now they're actually Florida State's on there's no doubt they're on the rise. They're playing better. This team's buying into the program. Yeah, it's awesome.
Our thanks, Paul, to you. Yeah, he punted when he kicked when he should have. The long one from Fitzgerald, I don't know about that, but you know what? That was like eons ago. The
I was kind of looking at that one like you saw. I still can't figure out his fourth down philosophy. He loves going for it deep in his own end, but he gets on his own side of the field for some reason. He wants to try long field goals. Whatever.
And the third down call was a delay handoff, so it was like, okay, so you're trying to kick the field goal there? I don't know. Whatever. It's okay. It's okay. Nick, we appreciate you. Yeah, still waiting for something. Well, something happened. Vishal. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
There he is.
It's time
Vishal, for. Thank you, sir.
I'll give you some Ferris Bueller again. Thank you, Vishal. We really appreciate you, man. As always, you are a pillar. I don't care.
Yes,
I'm going to ratify it. I'm going to rubber stamp it. We're going to make it happen. Aslan can say no, but it's
we got to get our own pillar, I think, for our show, Tom. We should get our own, because there are different pillars. I mean, the pillars are great on Wake Up Warchant, but we've got some ones on this show that are unique to us. They got to get their own pillar, so we'll work on that. Well, I think we'll get a garnet-shaped one to put it behind me or you.
Vishal's been amazing too on the JCS and in the pregame show. So Vishal, wherever you're watching, we hope you are as happy as we are right now. I saw you, Garrett. You said I'm getting tanked. Not during the show, man. It's a small pour. It's just a small pour. But cheers to you and cheers to everybody out there. Randall, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate your support. And yes, I think we can put those down for a moment. Tim, we appreciate you as well.
Thank you, buddy.
There you go. Papa Noel, I agree.
Yes.
I'm not going to say what you say, but I agree. All right. Mark, we appreciate you too, man. Everybody who's commenting. I mean, here we go. It's a great thought from David. David, yes. Jermaine Johnson is
That's a good comp. David, very good comp.
If they do finish this climb years from now, they're not going to do it tomorrow just because they beat a mediocre Miami team tonight. But if they finish this climb with Mike, Jermaine Johnson is one of the cornerstone reasons as to why.
Tom, beat Florida and the regular season, get to a bowl. I mean, think of how close that fourth down play from where the season could have been if we look back a month from now and go, holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, that's oh my goodness. It's hard to wrap your mind around all the implications now for future weeks, Gene.
Yeah.
Because even a win over Boston College puts you at 5 wins, and with the Florida State brand, that might be enough to get you in a bowl by itself.
I'm thinking Gasparilla, baby.
Hey, there we go. Hey, who doesn't love a little Gasparilla?
Yes.
I know it's not the same thing. It's like, the big garage in St. Petersburg that used to be known as the Thunderdome. Yeah. But, hey, we'll take it. It's an extra game. We'll take it. Helicopter kicks. You've been around for so long, man. I remember your comments from a year ago when we started this thing.
Yes, thank you.
Ed, what's up, man?
The Godfather himself.
Yeah, we appreciate
it. Ed Lemix, DeLuna Coffee, sponsor of Wake Up Warchant. So, yeah, definitely check those guys out, DeLuna Coffee, man. They got some incredible dark roasts. I love them.
They do. Ed, we hope you're partying it up, man. I know you are. Have yourself a great night tonight.
Cheers, Ed.
And cheers to you. Gabriel, hey, man, also, thank you so very much. Folks, bear with us. There are a lot of people supporting this program, so we might find a stopping place in a minute to get to the phones, but we've just got
we do. We appreciate this flooding in. Yeah, it's great. We sit here and take tips all day, Tom. Be a great show.
Yep. Well, and a great point by Gabriel, too, that Travis made a ton of big throws tonight. I thought there were a couple earlier ones that we won't remember unless we go back and watch the game. There was a 3rd and 2 rail route throw before halftime to Trayshawn Ward. That was a big throw. And then there was a completion on 3rd and 10 in the second half that I thought was in a really good spot. So you combine those with the 4th and 14, the throw to Parchment that wasn't completed.
I think that would have been another touchdown. I mean, you think he scores there, right?
Oh, easily.
Because he's hitting him in stride. If he doesn't slow down, he hits him in stride, and he's got the sideline all the way down.
There's nobody over the top. I mean, he could have had the speed of Preston Daniel, and I think he scores there. And that's not a dig at you, Preston. I'm just saying he'd have an H-back speed. He'd still score. Marcus, we appreciate your support as well. They never quit. That's right. And this one was a tough one. I wondered how they would handle this adversity. The 21-0 run, you're down a full score with a 2-point conversion.
Wasn't it a 28-3 run, basically?
I guess it was
28-3. Yeah,
pretty much. And
it was the race. We said it was the race to 30.
Yeah. Well, guess who got there, Gene? We did.
Yeah.
So that's the good news. Well, and that's also too. You go back to the first half of this game, and it was clear that old Van Dyke was nervous. He was rattled. He wasn't executing simple things. They were turning the football over. He was missing on some deep shots. He got it together in the second half, and you're just looking at the clock in the third quarter, Gene. There's like 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, and this game is within a score. You're going, oh my God, there's so much time. This kid can make unbelievable throws, and he did. And yet we didn't give him the ball back with much time left. That was well done to execute that from a clock management standpoint after Parchment came up short. Jason, oh my goodness.
Jason.
Thank you so much.
Goodness. You guys are just crazy. You guys are crazy generous tonight. Thank you so much.
Hey, everybody's been waiting for this, Gene. Everybody's been waiting.
You think it's been? I mean, it's been. You haven't beat a rival in 3 years, so you finally broke that jinx.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, it's. But I mean, that's a good point about Van Dyke. This wasn't just. You can't just say Van Dyke had a bad day. FSU forced that because early on they were getting the first couple series they were batting passes down, they were getting penetration. Jermaine is pestering the hell out of them. And I remember I did a video with the Miami publisher Kane Sport, Gary Furman, and he was talking about they had not played really since that opener against Alabama, a defensive line like this, and that was not Van Dyke wasn't in that game. So I mean, he has not seen a line like this where he's got people in his face. It's a whole different ball game, and it makes you rush your passes. It makes you do some things you don't normally do. So I mean, I credit that to the defensive front.
Yeah, the iconic play for Miami, if they had won, which they didn't, just in case you need a reminder.
That stupid-ass tip play.
Well, that would have been, that's like the revenge for Carlos Williams, right, in 2014.
Yeah.
But I would have thought it was the Knighton catch and run, and, because he was held down on the ground. His yards per carry was like 2. We did a great job of dominating the line of scrimmage and not letting him break out. Justin, we thank you, by the way. I didn't note that, but Justin, thank you, and ecstatic.
Thank you.
We all are, man.
So, those fans were great tonight.
But the front four did a great job against both the run and also affecting the quarterback. That first interception from Van Dyke was a terrible decision. It was in double coverage. And that to your point, Gene, that when you're flustered, you make decisions.
He was pressing otherwise, and I think he had Cooper or somebody in his face on that throw too. I think he was just trying to say, I'm just throw a ball downfield. My guys will certainly come down with it.
Oh, how about Amarian Cooper tonight, Gene? I mean, that guy continues to emerge. So he was the one that made the interception on the road at Clemson.
And he was covered. He was like, I'm how encouraging this with Brownlee and him, how they played.
Yep.
I mean, sans the breakdown on that last touchdown by Miami was kind of ugly by those guys. But man, covering, locking down some really Rambo and some of these other receivers were really shut down from Miami by those guys.
They were in large part. Rambo had one big play where he got open, but then a lot of I think 2 of the other catches he made, Gene, they were like a football size.
That was an absolutely perfect. I mean, that dime he threw on that one drive. I mean, when we pinned him down deep in their own end, just a great freaking throw and catch. I mean, you can't defend that when it's done that well.
Charles, we can't say thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution to the Warchant Postgame Show presented by Team Paper. We'll get to that in a moment, too. We've got callers. We've got visitors from the press box. Gene, we just ran highlights. I mean, this is a star-studded edition. Gabriel, again, we really appreciate you. Yes, Amari, see, there you go. Yeah, Amari played really, really
some
well.
Love.
Hey, you play well in a game against Miami or Florida. Gene, accounts for like 2 in the eyes of the fan base. And if they lost this game after being up 20-7, I don't even want to know what those phone calls would have sounded like. I can guess. I don't even want to know what your rant would have sounded like. I could guess. So take me through your emotions as I'm going to pull up some other people's contributions to the program and their comments. But take me through your emotions as you watched it. Were you at home the whole game? Did you go to sleep?
Yeah. I did. I was over there beginning tailgating and all that with some friends. But as you know, this life we live, it's hard to be at the stadium and get back to do this. Traffic around game day is tough in Tallahassee. So it's like I think like everybody else, you watch the beginning of the game, it's the perfect beginning. The defense is studding out. Johnson is terrorizing Van Dyke. We're moving the ball up and down the field pretty consistently. I was a little uneasy because it seemed like as dominant as Florida State was, they should have been up even more. And there's always that. Anybody who's been through this series, I mean, going back for me when I was in school, my freshman year was the 2-point, the 26-25 game like that. So you just see Florida State in that game had a big lead. They had a big lead in some of the wide rights. You're always with Miami. You're always afraid when you get a chance to put your foot on that neck and choke them out. You got to do it because this kind of stuff happens. So, but you had that. So you're like, you felt pretty good going into halftime. They got that one score. But yeah, when I think, I lost it when that tip pass. I'm like, the defense played that series when they got down in the red zone perfectly. I was like, man, they bowed up. They stopped Miami. They got their hands on the ball as you're supposed to do. And then it tips through and over 2 Florida State players' head in his hands. And then I knew it was trouble.
Yeah.
And because teams, it's emotion. You could see this is a thing.
Yes.
It's different than the NFL. So much of this game, college football, is built on emotions. And you can feel it. It's palpable when you're there. And it all shifted back to Miami. They got confidence, Florida State. And I think, that led to that last touchdown by. I mean, the defense had you could tell they lost a little bit of focus. They were just slamming into guys, not being technically sound. and then you let things slip away. But again, credit to this team because they did what we've seen all season. They bowed up. They got their composure back. Their backs were against the wall. They fought back, and this time it paid off with a big W against one of your biggest rivals. And it might set this program on a trajectory. We're going to look back a couple of years from now and goes, this was the turning point.
And here's something Darth Noles says that Jermaine Johnson broke the rock. I believe that 100%.
Oh, without a doubt.
This is, again, Jermaine Johnson won you the Clemson game if you were good enough to get a couple of first downs.
Imagine where we'd be now.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sky high. But it's just, here's a kid who's gotten better and better as the season's gone along. He racked up a lot of tackles for loss and sacks in the first month of the season. Then he kind of went cool in October. But you look at the last 3 weeks, and you look at the last 3 performances against Clemson on the road in that environment, against a first-round tackle for NC State, first-round left tackle. He put a lot of good stuff on film. And then what he did today, God, man. Gene, he might legitimately climb up into the teens, maybe even higher.
I'm happy for them, man. Yeah, he's – it's all about the momentum thing. He goes to – I don't know if he's going to go to the Senior Bowl. I don't know if they put the invites out on that yet, and Combine. If he goes out and those things impresses, man, top 15, top 10 type pick, man.
Yeah, I don't know that he needs to at this point because the body type is also NFL. That body type is ready-made for the NFL. Kim, we very much appreciate you and your contribution as well. All right, Gene. So, I mean, we've waited long enough, I think.
You want to do our team paper? We got to talk about them, and then we'll go to some phone calls.
Let's do it. So, teampaper.com. They support the Noles. They support the players that you love, that you really love today. And you should support Team Paper because here's what they do. 80% of every dollar you give to Team Paper goes towards Florida State athletes. Athletes right here in Tallahassee who cannot earn outside of what they do in athletics because the NCAA does not permit that. Team Paper really is a group of team players. See what I did there? The reason is they know that a big-time quarterback, a big-time player, a number 1 recruit is going to net a lot of NIL dollars. Team Paper puts a bunch of players together, spreads the love across the board. Upwards of 20 Florida State Seminoles are a part of teampaper.com. You can support the players yourself by going to Team Paper, using code WARCHANT, and saving $10 off of the Tallahassee bundle. We love our friends at teampaper.com, and they're rolling out more content still with the softball team, the basketball program. We'll see if at some point they get to the soccer program too, which is going to be competing again for a college cup. But our thanks to teampaper.com for putting money back in the pockets of players. Once again, everybody, it's 80% of every dollar you spend goes directly into the pockets.
You want to thank these guys. I mean, I appreciate everybody thanking us. I mean, I don't want to just stop thanking us, but I mean, this is a way to thank the players directly. You can legally do that now through Team Paper. So it's a great thing that they set that up. So yeah, definitely check that out.
No, there's no doubt.
Now, someone asked real quick before we check. They asked, does Jermaine now lead the nation in sacks? So he went into this game. I'm looking up his sack numbers with 8. So he's got 11. Now, there was a guy that had, he's a player from Kansas State had 11. So I don't know what that player, if this is updated or not. So maybe he's tied for the nation's lead right now, but he's up there. He's in the top 2 or 3 at the very least.
11 sacks.
11.
3 against he plays in 1 Miami game in his career, and he has 3 sacks. I'll bet that's more than a lot of really good Florida State.
That's a good question. How many? I don't know if any players have had 3 sacks in a Miami game, an individual player. That might be a record.
He had 1 crack at it. Thank you, sir. Mr. In Theory I Was Right podcast. Way to go. You get the pub for a little tip. That's well done. Gene, our first caller tonight, actually is not in the 757.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's been waiting for nearly a half an hour already. As we are, I mean, listen, time flies when you beat Miami. We all know
this. Yes, it does.
To the 813 and to a gentleman named Christian. Christian in Tampa. Welcome to a victorious edition of the Warchant Postgame Show. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I just want to first shout out Travis. He had a great game. His Heisman candidacy is really picking up. But I want to know, do you guys think that if he's the best dual threat quarterback in the country, or if not, who is?
All right.
Well, I don't know. You're more the college football aficionado. I'm not sure if I'm aware of. I haven't followed enough other teams to really know at this point, because I know doesn't Corral have 500 rushing yards? I think he's one of the few who has 500 rushing yards. So, I mean, he's up there. Obviously, a little bit more refined passing. I think the Heisman campaign maybe next year. Think if he gets a couple elite wide receivers in this offense, Tom. Yeah, I think at that point, if you could open up the offense where he'd do more things, he's pretty special. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I love some of the play calls where he fakes the pitch and does stuff. and then goes because it caught Miami off guard. So the good coaching staff, you get some better receivers. But I'll let you answer, Tom, in terms of is there anyone other than Corral you can think of that's probably better dual threat guy right now?
Nobody off the top of my head is a better runner. But I think there are a lot of dual threat quarterbacks who you have to honor more with the pass. Now, that's trending differently. That's changing. It's a great segue from Christian into this contribution from some guy. Thank you, some guy. But it's if you watch the throws that Travis made on the road at Clemson, some of the key throws, they were impressive. They look like the things that we saw, Gene, in fall camp when Jordan was wearing a green jersey and he didn't have to worry about the pass or interior pressure because he couldn't be contacted. He got into real games, and the progress that we saw in camp, it didn't really manifest itself in September. But on the road at Clemson, that caught my eye, that he was making different throws. It doesn't mean that you can expect Jordan Travis to be an amazing pocket passer from this point forward, but you also, on the other side of the coin, really have to note the improvements. They are legitimate. It's not just the rail route to Lawrence Toafili on the road to Clemson. There's some throws breaking in over the middle of the field in big situations. That throw again tonight,
the fourth down. That confident throw in there, he doesn't make that last year. And this is like you said, I think that's a great point, Tom, because we saw a lot of this last year. I got to just watch this again. Here's 4th and 14.
Look at the decisiveness.
Just zipped right in there in the middle of the defense. We saw a lot of this in spring, and that's why people didn't understand, because then they saw McKenzie go out there and have a really good spring game, and he was all the buzz. And then again, when we started preseason practices, we saw him consistently outplay McKenzie in practice, and he's made throws like that. And we didn't see much of it in games, and so I knew that was within him. And obviously, it's different in practice and games. Sometimes it takes a while for that to click, but you're right. You're starting to see that click. He's processing. He's having more confidence in his throws, and he's making different throws. It's not just the rail routes. It's some of these confident in the middle throws. It's some sideline routes. It's some things he's developing his game. And now I think the next step is to continue to build on that and then give him more talent, give him some more guys who can get separation. It's a lot easier to be a better passer, Tom, when guys are getting big. If you're getting separation like Cooper Kupp does in the NFL, it's easier to make those throws. There's not a whole lot of separation by these wide receivers, but he's, very dramatic improvement is passing.
Yeah, largely speaking tonight, he was sharp. I mean, that sounds kind of funny because, of course, he was, Tom. But listen, that's not a sure thing every Saturday that Florida State plays, that you think that Jordan Travis is going to be sharp as a passer. But he was. You just got to hand it to the young man for getting better and developing. And man, did your heart go in your throat? I mean, it seemed like everything was going against the Noles. And it was on the scoreboard. And then Jordan Travis is in the injury tent on a nothing.
Oh, my gosh. And holding his arm.
Well,
I assume they brought him in for extras. I'll be curious. Now, we will bring, with Ira or Corey, we'll bring one of them on here from the press box here later. We'll find out some more about that. I'm assuming they might have thought he might have broke something. They went in for an x-ray. Apparently it was negative, so they could bring him back out. So that was, absolutely unfair. When McKenzie was warming up, and I'm not trying to throw McKenzie under the bus, great story, but Florida State was not going to win that game with McKenzie Milton out there.
No, especially the way that we weren't really able to run the football up the middle in the second half. And I know a lot of people in the comment section saying, where are the perimeter runs? I get you. But
I'm with you. They smashed in there. So I would have liked more of those those quick outs or perimeter runs. Sometimes teams have been doing that, and it doesn't seem like we adjust our running style.
Yep. Devontae, Sean, and Jim, thank you so much.
Oh, my gosh. Thanks, guys.
Program.
Cheers.
Are just too much. Yeah, enjoying the single malt. Gene's enjoying that Oyster City. Hooter Brown's already strong enough, Gene. You didn't need a supercharged Hooter Brown, but that's
delicious. It's absolutely delicious.
Our next caller on the post-game show, we go to Pillarville, USA, a.k.a. Cincinnati. We're talking to Angel. Eric Angel, welcome to the program. Eric, on a scale of 1 to 10, how inebriated and happy are you?
Holy smokes, 10!
Let's go, Eric!
Let's go, G to Tom!
Woo!
Smell what Jermaine Johnson and Travis Jordan are cooking! How about them Noles? Woo!
I love it, Eric. We earned this, man. We had to fight the last couple years.
No doubt, man. I was sweating bullets. I told your caller, or your actually personnel, Terry, I was sweating through my shirt. Oh, man. This captain and rum is going down smooth.
Hey, yes.
Hey, good man. That's a drink after my own heart, Eric.
Going with a captain.
Eric, were you sure that we were going to lose at 28-20, or did you have hope? Because I know you're one of the most optimistic Noles there are. How did you feel at 28-20 with Jordan Travis going down the tunnel to the locker room?
Oh, man. I was praying, man. I was hoping he came back out. To be honest, I mean, I thought he probably would, and it was a smart call by Coach Norvell. I'll give him credit to kick that field goal, and that was very smart on his part. And then we go down, and Jordan Travis scores that touchdown. I'm just like, oh, thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Eric. So
and now on the Boston Costas.
Yeah.
Let's beat the Eagles.
All right, Eric. Over under 6 more hours before bedtime. Over under. How late you staying up?
Oh, I'm staying up all night, bro. I wish I was there, guys. I totally wish I was there to take it all in at the CP yesterday. And unfortunately, some things came up. I couldn't make it.
Hey, real life happens sometimes, Eric. Hey, we'll see you soon. Hopefully, we'll see you at a bowl game somewhere.
That's right.
If not, I've already said we'll figure it out, but we're having a heck of a party in New Orleans for that LSU game next year. I know you'll make that one.
There it is. And we say cheers to you, Eric. And I know you would say on the way out, you'd say like and subscribe, right? So like this video. Folks, you love this result. If you haven't done so already and you're one of the thousands of people who are tuned into the Warchant Postgame Show, there's a thumbs up right there on YouTube. Just hit the thumbs up for us.
We got 426 likes, Tom. I don't know if we've ever hit 1,000 likes. That would be something. So we're almost halfway there.
All right. Yeah.
So that like button. Come on, let's go.
We're living on that prayer. Brinzy, we appreciate you and your contribution to this program. Thank you so much. It is a signature win for now.
Yes.
This kind of a win won't be acceptable 3 years from now, but we take it with open arms tonight. And we take it with open bottles tonight.
Tom, I disagree with you. Beating Miami by any ways or means, no matter how ugly, is always the standard.
Correct.
It's always
Let me qualify that. I wasn't thinking about the rivalry aspect. I was talking about a close win against a 500 football team. So, yes, but good correction, Gene. Good correction. It is a rivalry win.
Mark said it right there. Yes, any Miami win, very acceptable.
Correct.
And how many times have they beat Florida State looking ugly and getting lucky? So we'll take it.
Correct.
And it wasn't. Florida State fought back in this game. I mean, there's something to be said for that. This was more set. Look, sure, it would have helped my heart had they gotten up that lead and just kind of won by 2 or 3 scores and coasted to a win. But I think this actually does better for the team and for the fan base to win a game like this when there was adversity. You got to come back from when all this stuff happened. I think it means more, and it will mean more in the long run.
Oh, it absolutely does. That's a good correction. All I meant was about the level of opponent. But well done, Mark, Gene, everybody who's gone. Yeah, there you go. That's fine. Listen, I was thinking about the quality of opponent, not the name. We go to South Carolina, and we're talking to Lee on the Warchant Postgame Show. Lee's got a sentiment about Jermaine Johnson. I tend to agree with his sentiment, but you go ahead and share it with us, Lee. Welcome to the program.
I'll tell you, I wish that he had one more year. I really do.
Oh, it wouldn't matter. He would leave early because he's making a lot of money.
I just want to say I'm so proud of my boys, man. And Gene and Tom, I told you, if they was healthy, they're going to win. They did it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They did. Yeah, thank you, Lee. And I can tell you, Gene, this morning, I brought this up on the pregame show, which you can catch on Warchant TV. Well, actually, it was the last home game. So I told Jeff, I copped to it. I had Miami on the money line on the Hard Rock Sportsbook app on Monday when I heard, and Mike Norvell said that Jordan Travis was not available in practice on Sunday and that the flu was still going. This morning, I early cashed out on that bet. I didn't want to play it because I had a feeling. Now that we were healthy that things might change. So I didn't play the bet. I took it off the board. You have to shave a couple of dollars off of what you wagered in order to do something like that. But I think it was a heady play, Gene. Wouldn't you agree?
Not bad. I did pick FSU to win by 3. I did pick the exact score, but I did pick FSU by 3. So I will take some partial credit for that one. I kind of, I don't know if you want to share the stats of just kind of offensively. Can we pull that up real quick? I know we got probably some people waiting, but I'm curious. And we'll have the, if you're a Warchant subscriber, we'll have all the Pro Football Focus rundown in the morning, all the grades. I assume they're going to be pretty high. Especially I'm curious to see how Jordan grades that. Because like you said, if you look at the stats, 18 for 26, pretty high completion ratio. But you know what? Yep. He didn't turn the ball over.
Correct.
And, rushing yards, what was his rushing yards at? So, had
62.
another, 62 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, obviously the big one at the end.
Yep.
So, I will take that. I'll take their time. Efficient performance for my quarterback, distributing the ball, not making mistakes. And that's what we want at him. Again, they improve the talent at some of those skill positions, especially at receiver. And I think those numbers will start popping up a little bit when guys are starting to make plays in the open field and guys are getting open and guys aren't quitting on routes. He probably would have been over 300 yards had it not been for that play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, absolutely. And here's something we haven't brought up yet. you talked about, I think it was either Eugene or it was a commenter, but one of the plays of the game is to Ja'Kai Douglas.
Yeah.
What a game for Ja'Kai.
How about Ja'Kai? Yeah, you're right. We haven't talked about him. I'm glad you brought that up because, he was kind of an afterthought. Nobody was like, he's this guy who's got some speed and athleticism, but is he ever going to amount to anything? Man, what a great game he had. Absolutely came through in the clutch on that big play, got open, and set Florida State up for the game-winning score.
He did. And it was different kinds of catches. It wasn't always, just some kind of route down the field where he was breaking open because he's just faster than somebody. There were moves in there. So maybe Ja'Kai Douglas is a solution in the longer term. I also have to give some love. We had to pull the clip because we got to conserve our resources here. But on the Ja'Shawn Corbin touchdown run, my man Jordan Young had a nice block. I know he had a big drop later. I know. But I always root for 83, so I was happy to see that. Eric, we appreciate the contribution, not just
Thank you, Eric,
from the phone call, but yeah, we heard you. You must be a fan of making fun of old Dwayne Johnson, the Rock. That's twice.
Well, you didn't get to see our greatest all-time Florida State Miami plays, and that was something I did with Corey and Jeff Cameron. Yep. And that was one of my favorite parts of that segment. Tom, was a still shot. After Devin Bush had the pick to seal that game away in '93, and they panned to Dwayne Johnson on the sideline and seeing that dumb look on his face.
Yeah,
that was beautiful. So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch that on Warchant. And of course, you can always tune into Jeff and Tom Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on this channel. That's why you want to subscribe. You get Jeff every day. You get the Sunday Smash, Ira and Jeff tomorrow. We'll talk about this guy. I think Jeff will be in a very good mood, I'm thinking.
I think he will. I don't know that there'll be a lot of calling out of commenters unless they're Miami fans or something, but I think that'll be a much more peaceful proceeding.
Yes.
Helicopter, you contributed to the program a little bit earlier.
Can FSU get 6 wins?
Yeah. So you want to ask another question. Yeah, Gene, what does your heart say? Do you think it's going to happen? I think that's what he wants. He wants.
If I had to bet, I'd say they go 1-2. I mean, I'm playing the odds. If I'm an odds maker, I say they go 1-2. Can they? Absolutely. They'll probably be favored against BC. Would you think so, Tom?
Yeah, you're saying 1 out of 2. Yeah,
1 out of 2. But I think they're favored against BC. I know. Here's my fear. And I had a good conversation. I'm curious to your take on this. So I'm tailgating some guys. We're seeing that score in the Samford game. If Samford beats Florida down there, Mullins, they lock him out of the locker room. He's done.
Correct.
You cannot. The way that season has gone, if you lose at home to Samford, you're done. So I was a little torn on that, because somebody brought up, if that happens, they fire him, and they might put an interim coach like they did with Odell, and the players want to play for him. Obviously, right now they're quitting on Mullen. They hate the guy. They don't want to play for him. So I kind of want him to stay at least a couple more weeks, so we can be his last game, right?
Yeah. Oh, let them play out the string. Let that building. This is something that happened towards the end of Willie's tenure, Gene. Actually, it was the Florida State Miami game. I went with our mutual friend Bill, the owner of Corner Pocket, and we were walking out of that stadium. There was still one more home game to go that year. It was against South Alabama. And Bill and I were walking out of the stadium, and I said to him, I don't know how the hell, when we play South Alabama, they can announce Willie's name on the PA system in the stadium. Like, I don't know how they could do it. Like, you're just inviting problems.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, about, what was it, 16 hours later, Willie was fired. I just wonder, like, you're hosting the rivalry game that it's been on a hiatus for a year because of COVID. And people, the approval rating for Dan Mullen's probably like the size of his IQ, like 7. So about worldly things. Now, he could scheme a game, but other things. Like, how in the hell? Like, that is an atmosphere where they could turn against him and root for us because they want him the hell out of Dodge.
Oh, there's no Gators rooting against. No. They're not rooting for Florida State. They wouldn't go that far because they probably think he's going to be fired anyway.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Mullen, hang in there. Come on, hang in there for 2 more games. We need you.
Yeah.
We want you on that hill. Come on.
Yeah, we need you on that hill. Scott, we appreciate you. That's something I want to ask our guys.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what a bunch of.
Well, we'll see. We'll see who started that. That's what I want to know. And
I know they were stomping on logo. What? Oh, it's Miami, and they're stomping on a logo. I wonder who. Come on, it's Miami.
Yep.
I think that was part. Was that part of their game plan? Because it looked like they were trying to get in Florida State's heads. Because you saw even the play when Jordan got hurt, and they did the replay. He got smacked in the face at the bottom of the pile. Yeah. And then you have the stomping on the logo.
Yep. I saw the smacking.
This is classic Miami. Being the lowlifes that they are, trying to get Florida State out of their comfort zone and throw them off.
Yeah, that was also, listen, I know Mark has ties here, Coach Rick, but remember when Coach Rick did that stunt in Jacksonville against the Gators I think that was back in 07, the 07 Florida Georgia.
Yeah, when they ran out the field.
They ran out after the touchdown into the end zone, and they took the penalty. He didn't care. That feels like an homage to what Mark pulled out in the world's largest cocktail party. Jim asks, and we appreciate it. Yeah, asked us. No problem. Leslie, we agree with your sentiment. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Jim, what happened at halftime? Well, Florida State came out. This is what I would have circled. So before the fumble on third down, which, Gene, you said no fumbles for Jordan Travis. I agree. If there is a fumble credited to Jordan, it should be on Corbin for that particular play. I don't know what the official rule book will say, or stat book, but that should be on Corbin, not Jordan. That first down play, there is a screen pass that Jordan and Jay Sean are not on the same page. It's going to go for at least 30 yards. We're going to be in the red zone if we're not scoring outright on that play. So I think there were plays to be made on offense. It's just this kind of happens in college football. Gene, you know it all too well.
Yeah.
Momentum, emotions. It's not that Florida State didn't have opportunities to continue to succeed on offense. And then Van Dyke on the other side was making a lot of difficult throws. We pinned them down inside their 5-yard line. And that first throw he makes to Rambo is absurd.
That's an NFL. That's insane. There's only a handful of NFL quarterbacks that make that pass consistently. That's something there. But no, you're right on the way that went down with some of those things. And look, at halftime, I think it was one of our posters on the message board, FSU 91, said the Tribal Council, who's one of the regulars there, and he pointed out that first drive, because FSU got the ball. If Florida State goes down and scores a touchdown, at that point, Miami's done. They're going to give up because that's so important, because you scored that field goal before half. If you go down and score at the beginning, because I think at that point you're making a statement. My fear was, and we've seen that really from Mike Norvell's offenses, they seem to go in these lulls where they seem to go several series in a row. They just don't seem to have anything going on. And that was in that third quarter, man. They were completely lifeless. And you threw in the turnover too, and that let Miami get back into the game. So that's something that still needs to be worked out. The offense, when it just goes into I don't know if they were just riding high from what happened after halftime, but it just didn't seem like there was any kind of want to early in that third quarter.
Yeah, I also thought if we had scored a touchdown before the break and got it to 24-7 at the half, that might have been it too, because we get the ball. You know, I thought that was a key sequence where, it didn't work out for us in the red zone, and that would have been something we would have complained about a whole lot had it gone the other way. Andre, that might be the case. And I love, Nathan, I saw your little dig at Manny about the fake momentum. I'm confused how we won with all the fake momentum we have. That's a great take, and we appreciate your contribution. We now go to the 757. I mean, how could we not?
There he is. Thank goodness.
Hater,
make sure he's okay.
Hater, welcome to the program. Because you are one of the regulars, I'm going to ask you the question I asked Angel, which is, rate your happiness and inebriation level out of 1 to 10. Go ahead, man.
My happiness is a 10. Mm-hmm. My inebriation is about a 2. I'm going to break out the good brown liquor tonight. Got me some.
Tom's already done that.
Kat took it home, took it to her house. So let's go.
Woo!
Yay, sausage.
Yes.
No. I tell you what. First, I'll make a comment. I really thought we were snake bit because of the fluke plays that the U got. But my question is how important is this comeback win for us in recruiting? Not for Travis Hunter or Duffy, but some of those guys that are on the fence.
No, that's a really good, and we're going to see that. And we've got, I know, our recruiting analyst Michael Langston and Austin Cox going to be working the phone, working social media. I know Michael usually has a recruit reaction, and we'll have that up. And I wouldn't be surprised with all. I think there were 10 officials, something like that. There's a lot of visitors here. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a commitment or two drop in the next 2 or 3 days. So keep your eyes out for that. It can only have profound positive impact on recruiting. You hope it has some immediate impact. You'd like to get a couple commitments because we're only a month away from signing day. But it has to. I mean, when you beat an in-state rival, when now it's not just our perception the program is on the rise. There's tangible evidence now. This program, I mean, just look at the Miami game last year to this year.
Yep.
And this Miami team is better. And look, remember last year Miami went, was it who they FIU they lost to last year? Was that last year?
Yeah, it might have been a couple of years ago, but still, like they did what they usually do, Gene, which is they started hot and then they completely.
Yeah, they were awful by the end of the year. So that's my point. Is this was a better Miami team, and Florida State beat them. And last year FSU didn't even show up. So this team is dramatically better. You're getting the win. She had a nationally televised audience, seeing an exciting win, and those recruits at that game. That place was electric. Those recruits saw that. They saw the win. As Tom mentioned earlier, they're in the locker room celebrating with the players right now. So I do think this could have long-lasting impacts on recruiting and could really help the program. Florida State has not had a win like this since. When's the last time they had a win like this, Tom? It wasn't a Taggart. It was the Jimbo. Probably Jimbo was the last time they had a win of this importance to the program.
Yeah, maybe it was the block at the Rock. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's long before this program existed. That's for sure.
Yeah. Or maybe Odell beating Florida, if you want to say that at the end of the year. But that Florida team was so bad, it was kind of like, you beat them, but.
We kept Gator on the line. So before we let you go, Gator, your thoughts on the final couple of weeks of the season and I wanted to get it from you, your perception, the percentage chance that Florida State gets to 6 wins, beats Florida, obviously BC in the middle, and gets to a bowl game. What do you think?
I think we get to 5. I think 5's reasonable, and if we get BC, then we can get Florida. What's more impressive is we had 2 transfer O-line guys that were in today. One from Wisconsin, not sure where the other one's from.
Ooh, so, I like Wisconsin linemen.
We all, and he was a center. And a guard, I believe. I believe that with this positive win today, we're starting our climb. I got my bamboo plant. It's climbing. It's growing.
Yes.
So unfortunately, the J-State game is probably going to cost us possibly 6-6, but based on everything else this year, we're showing improvement, holding this class together, and next year we should do a lot better than what we did this year. I appreciate everything you do. All you guys out there join Warchant. Make sure you support all the things that they support, DeLuna, Zaxby's, Register Sausage, everything else. Y'all have a great night. I appreciate y'all taking my call. And as always, go Noles. It's a great day to be a fucking Seminole.
There you go.
You go Gator, Kirk. Well, he goes down with the F-bomb, man, in style. Hey, Tom, we do a quick share here because we had some guy had a question about which big-time recruits. I'm going to give people a little peek here, if I can do this correctly. Just to give you an idea, this is a peek behind the curtain at our Michael Langston. You want to know how many recruits are here? Check this out as I scroll. Look at all the recruits who are here. Oh, my goodness. And it just keeps going and going and going. All right. Yep. We can't give you any more of that because that's premium material. So I guess I can't get myself in trouble on that.
That's correct.
There we go.
Who's going to
stop?
But
that's what I'm saying. You want to who was here? It's a lot of freaking recruits there. We're going to have all kind of coverage on Warchant. Like I said, Michael Langston and Austin will have updates. Probably soon tonight, we'll probably have some recruit reaction, and tomorrow updates all throughout the day of these visitors on campus. And I'd imagine it's going to, like I said, I think there's a decent chance we might get a commit or 2 out of this. And there's some big timers on that list too, including Marvin Jones Jr. and how, in this series, Marvin coming from South Florida, and it was obviously, Jeff said it's his favorite player of all time. It might be one of mine too at Florida State. And to have his son come here as a 5-star recruit, that would just be something because you need players like that. Because we saw tonight, Jermaine Johnson, one player who's an elite player on either side of the ball can make all the difference in a game like this.
Oh, an absolute game wrecker. I mean, this is something we haven't seen here in a long time. I mentioned a lot about, and I'm taking a look at some updates from our guys. We'll be joined by Corey in a little bit. I think it's Corey tonight. We've seen this, Gene, at a lot of other programs in the last 5 years where one guy takes a game over. Mm-hmm. We just don't have a lot of those here in Tallahassee, but a lot of them were in the stands today, and a lot of them saw that. And when you have a player like Travis Hunter or Sam McCall or A.J. Duffy with that kind of passion that I'm sure they had in the stands for the result that happened on the field, and that kid, the number 1 overall player in the country, tells you he wants you to play with him here in Tallahassee, and you get to see what that locker room and experience is like, that's a really good pitch. If you're not coming here after that, you were never coming here.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about tonight. This was an absolute – they swung for the fences twice this year. They hit a technical home run against Notre Dame. You didn't get the result, but you got the atmosphere and you got the evidence of improvement. Then they lose a bunch of games after that. Tonight you swung for the fences again. And, Gene, it was the bottom of the 9th. There were 2 outs and 2 strikes, and you needed a 3-run bomb to left field, and they hit that 3-run bomb. Unbelievable turn of events. And if this class ends up being, let's say, Gene, a top 10, top 8 class, because you get a couple of defections and a couple of kids that say, you know what, I like what I see there, it's this moment. Tonight's the night that it happened. So we'll see. We'll see. We're getting ahead of ourselves. But be sure, if you haven't done so yet, to pay attention to the work of Austin Cox.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get word to Aslan. I'm sure what's going on with that. So we will. If there's a technical problem, thank you, RD. But we will get that fixed. And thank you, Ken, for your donation. Very much appreciated.
Yep. And also, of course, Michael Langston, the senior recruiting analyst. Make sure you pay attention to everything.
Yes. He's going to be busy him and Austin, the next 48 hours. But it's a good kind of busy.
It is. And hopefully Kyle is enjoying a good kind of evening in Colorado because he's next up on the Warchant Postgame Show. Kyle, we appreciate you for always
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, man. How are you doing?
He's ready.
Oh, I am 4 beers in since I've been on hold, so I'm doing fantastic.
My man.
All right. Well, hang on a minute. So, Kyle, you've been on hold for a long time. It's been 55 minutes. You've had 4 beers in 55 minutes. We appreciate that. Go ahead with your thoughts.
So we're saying to step my game up. I get you. My thoughts are this. I think that we didn't get outcoached. We didn't get outplayed. And our players showed up, and we really needed them to show up, which was my concern a few weeks ago. So I really feel great about the direction of this program. I want all those Miami haters to keep coming to Warchant and keep giving you guys money to troll because it's working out great for them. And I also want everyone to say go Noles, and I'm really happy with the direction of this program. And I think we're heading in the right direction. I think you guys already touched on a lot, so I won't ask you guys to get into it more. But it's going to be nice having Miami eat that humble pie for another year.
Yeah, and they have to.
Thank you, Kyle. I want to know what beer are you drinking? Hopefully you're good stuff.
Oh, it sounded like he signed off, so I let him go. You know me, I'm quick triggered Tommy.
I know.
Sorry about that.
I know, but that's important to me. I want to know. I hope we're drinking good beer. You got to spread the word, man. You got to get rid of that. I don't want to say it because who knows, they may sponsor us someday, so I'm not going to say it. But we like our good beer. That's what I'm saying. So hopefully Kyle's enjoying some yummy Colorado microbrew craft beer out there.
Absolutely. All right, Gene. So I'm about to share something with you. This is ripped. So this is secondhand, but Norvell era FSU Garnet and Gold on Twitter follows me, and he follows a bunch of FSU stuff. But what he did was he screen grabbed the Travis Hunter video from the locker room. So you okay with getting some third hand stuff because it's Travis Hunter?
As long as the overlords of Stadium or one of them is not going to come down on us for this, I'm assuming it's okay. It's his video. It's not their video. So as long as he did the video, it should be fine.
It's his own personal video. So
right.
this failed miserably when I tried this earlier in the season. So let me go through.
So this is Travis Hunter's video, or is it somebody?
This is Travis Hunter on IG Live, showing everybody Jermaine Johnson breaking the rock. Okay,
nice.
So if you can follow that, this is third-hand stuff.
Let's get this to
work.
Here
let
we
me
go.
Unmuted so we can hear it.
Yes. Here it is.
All right. We knew that locker room would be hopping.
Awesome.
Looks like it's not disappointing there. And again, that's Travis Hunter himself, not somebody who is a friend and like, hey, Travis, say hi. That's he himself. So
you keep getting this question. I don't know. I think Travis Hunter is on the fence. Does that look like he's on the fence? Stop it. He's signed with FSU, and they're going to win. Armel apparently tweeted "Null-blooded."
Yep.
Boy, we could use some offensive linemen. That my feelings on that. And I think Jeff's and everybody else's offensive linemen are definitely needed by FSU.
Absolutely.
And speaking of, did I say 5-star lineman?
Oh my goodness, Gene.
We have the 5-star.
See,
I think in the hopper.
You got me, Gene. My eye discipline was much like a Miami linebacker. Sorry.
Even Ira is smiling tonight. Look at Ira. He's getting like a schoolgirl.
We go to stadium side. I don't know that there'd be many smiles in the program right now, if not for a certain 4th and 14 play. But there was. So we go to the managing editor of Warchant.com. Ira Schafel, your initial thoughts on a wild one at Doak Campbell.
That unfortunately, he can't even say it's the best 4th and 14 play in school history because it ties the Chris Ricks to Dominic Robinson down in the swamp in 2003. But man, it was something else. It couldn't be more improbable. I mean, it was funny when I wrote my original game story in the 4th quarter, which had Miami winning.
I saw that in the admin IR. I'm like, man, what's going on here?
I was writing about how improbable it was that Miami won after falling behind 17-0. Then I just changed it to Florida State wins improbably, down 8 in the middle of the fourth quarter. And then the way they did, I mean, to kick the field goal, get the ball back, get the stop, get the ball back. You hit a 60-yard pass to Ja'Kai Douglas, who I don't know if he had 60 yards receiving all season. And then on 4th and 14, Jordan Travis hits. I mean, we're going to remember that play for the rest of our lives. It's Andrew Parchment, who not that long earlier had stopped running on a route that ended up being an incompletion. It could have been a touchdown. So just unbelievable. Unbelievable win, man. It's just this program definitely needed it. These players and coaches definitely needed it. So it's and the fan base definitely needed it.
Yeah.
Can I ask one quick question, Ira? I know that there are policies in the press box, and nobody's rooting in the press box, but there are times when there are groans, audible groans one way or the other, because people can't believe what they see. Was the audible groan louder for, I'll give you 3 options, the Knighton broken tackle touchdown, where Brown, I mean, that was a hell of a play that we don't care about anymore. The Parchment throw, not on 4th and 14, where he just stops, or the 4th and 14. Like, what was the press box like? Because even though there's a code, there can still be a little bit of noise in there.
I think somebody clapped. There was a guy who was not media, but there was somebody in the press box who clapped a little bit after the Parchment catch on 4th and 14. I actually got admonished jokingly by Sports Information on the tip touchdown.
Oh yeah!
I literally was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" I mean, I just couldn't. And
you did drop the MF there. You got to be MF-ing kidding me.
I just was like, "You've got to be blanking." I couldn't believe it. And a voice from behind me from Sports Information was like, "Do I need to remind you about the rules about cheering in the press box?" I mean, they were kidding. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, that's the thing. It's not like Miami. And we talked to a bunch of players after the game. People can watch all those videos up at Warchant TV. But after the game, I mean, I think the defensive players said they weren't really even that upset after that play because they felt like it was a fluky play. Kevin Noles gets the pass breakup. It ends up landing right in the receiver's stomach. And then, I think even the Knighton play, it was a big play, but man, just it's not like the whole defense collapsed. So. Anyway, I think that was one of the stories of the night is that through everything this team has been through, all the adversity they've been through, and Norvell talks about this all the time, they had a bunch of chances. We've talked about it all year. This team doesn't quit. Well, this was another opportunity, and this time they fought back and were rewarded with the win.
Now, Ira, a couple things. First of all, I think to be the MVP, we just showed video before he came out of Jermaine Johnson breaking the rock. And, a performance like this in a big game like this against a rival, I haven't seen a defensive player. I'm trying to remember the last time in a rivalry game that just took it over on one side of the ball, finished with 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, and then the play that made Miami punt at the end. And Tom brought up the replay of that thing, and it's unbelievable because he's lined up on the other side of the field. Right. He runs all the way across the field. And who knows? He might have got the first down, or he probably goes for another yard, which might have forced Diaz to go for it on 4th down. But the fact it was a 4th and 2 at that point. But for him to have that hustle plan come all the way here, he comes all the way across the field on this one. I didn't know what the comments were about him or just your thoughts on Jermaine's play, other than the fact that he made himself a lot of freaking money tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of conversation about Jermaine after the game. When he came in, I just was like, Jermaine, what were you doing tonight? I mean, it was like a otherworldly performance. I've never asked a question quite like that before, but it was just, I mean, he was on a different level. And Mike Norvell talked about how much he's meant to this program. During the fourth quarter, Corey was sitting next to me at one point. Corey's like, he's got to be the best transfer in America. Like, because not just obviously the plays and to come through in a game like this, but also, there was a moment that was pretty cool about it. I asked him, when Mike Norvell kicks the field goal and says to the defense, like, you guys have to get a stop so we can have a chance to win this game, Jermaine went over to Jarvis Brownlee. I was watching on the sideline. He went over to Jarvis Brownlee and kind of like gave him a pep talk. Like, hey, man, I know this has not been your night. I know he had just given up the Knighton touchdown. He had the roughing the kicker earlier, running into the kicker earlier, got beat on some big passes. And Jermaine Johnson went over to him specifically and was like, look, man, you can't worry about any of that. It's the next play. You've got to come through for us in this next drive. And it's not like Jarvis Brownlee came out and had the interception, but just that, how cool is that a guy has been here, 10 months, And he cares that much to go give a pep talk to a guy who's struggling in this game. Just, I mean, really great leadership along with the incredible playmaking ability.
And you're right, because there's a stigma about transfers that they're not necessarily, they're not team players, they're all about for themselves. But you're right, this guy could be a better, not only an elite player on the field, but what he does in terms of being a teammate and a leader on this team. Well, I got to talk about Jordan Travis, and one of the conversations some people have been commenting on in chat that we brought up, because you and I saw this in the spring in a preseason. We said, man, he is looking a lot better in terms of being able to throw the football and everything he did. But the fans haven't, especially early on, you didn't see that so much from him. And all of a sudden, he's made, like you said, a couple of those throws. The one to Andrew Parchment, he would have, that's another one that should have gone for a long thing. But that decisive 4th and 14 throw, when he stepped up with confidence and ripped that thing in there, that's a pass he doesn't make a year ago. And how far this guy has come and what this could do for his confidence. For in a situation like this against a big rival to make, we're watching this right now. That was the Ja'Kai Douglas one. You brought up Ja'Kai earlier, but then on the 4th, I mean, this play right here, I mean,
it's so much like it really is pretty similar, not in the position of the field, but similar to the Dominic Robinson, Chris Ricks play, because it's kind of a square in, hitting the middle of the defense. And this was awesome for Jordan Travis, no question. And to the point you just made, this is the reason they did want to go to more of their normal offense to start the season. I think that's been a question lately, is like, why did it take Florida State so long, this coaching staff, to go to this modified zone read, run first, offense with Jordan Travis if you knew he couldn't be the quarterback you need him to be? But they thought he was going to be this kind of guy. And that's what they thought during preseason practice. That's why he got the start against Notre Dame. But then, the whole McKenzie thing happened. It kind of threw everything for a loop. And McKenzie comes in the Notre Dame game, looks good. They give him the start. Then Jordan gets hurt. And then he comes back, and now the offensive line's hurt. So they've just kind of had, I'm not making excuses, it's just been a weird route to get here. But, yeah, man, you make a good point. This is what they thought he was going to be at the beginning of the season. And, look, on that 4th and 14, from what I remember, I didn't notice just then, but when I was watching it live, I think Miami rushed 3 and dropped everybody back, thinking there's no way he's going to be able to complete this pass. And sure enough, man steps in and makes a great pass. And he gave a lot of credit to the offensive line. He said he could not.
They did a great job. They gave him a clean pocket.
Yeah, see, Miami's dropping 3. They're basically saying, Jordan Travis, if you're going to win this game, you got to make a throw into. We're going to drop 7. You got to make a throw, and good for him, man. He did it.
Well, speaking of who the recipient of that throw, and I've never seen a guy go from a goat to a hero as quickly as Andrew Parchment. I don't know if you saw our message boards, but oh my God, I think the pitchforks were coming out for Andrew Parchment when he gave up. Now, I guess first of all, Ira, I don't know if we got to talk to Andrew or there's any conversation about that, and I'm curious what the play that he slowed down on. I don't know if he was talking crap to the Miami player, arguing with the official, whatever the deal was. What happened there? And then I guess you said you got to talk to him. The fact that he was able to redeem himself and maybe the biggest play for FSU in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it did look like he was talking trash to him, and I think he might have been. What Mike Norvell said, and then Andrew backed it up, was there was a miscommunication. Jordan Travis said the same thing. So if they're just covering up for Andrew, they've got their story straight because they all said the same thing, that there was a miscommunication, that he got the wrong sign.
He was communicating with the Miami DB on the play.
He thought he was – I guess he just thought he was a decoy. And Jordan was doing something else. And when he looked back just to look back and saw the ball and then was like, oh, but he did, look, I mean, at the end of the day, he got the call wrong. I mean, I don't think I guess it's better to get the call wrong than to just quit on a route to talk trash. But anyway, it was big for him. And also just to stick it out this long. I mean, you guys have been out there practice. You guys especially were out there at the practice in August.
Yep.
Where they just drove that kid. I mean, I remember being at practices and media and other people would, just talk, is this kid going to make it? I mean, they drove him so hard and he's had some games. I mean, 3 or 4 games ago, he didn't even step on the field. I think at Wake Forest, or there was another game. He didn't even get on the field, didn't get in the game, and was at the bottom of the depth chart. He got passed by everybody and fought his way back. Mike Norvell said these last 3 weeks have been his best 3 weeks of practice. He's really kind of turned it around, and it's good for him, man. It's we'll see. if he can stack together a few more performances, that guy's a chance to play pro football. He's a big time talent. He can run. It's just becoming a more complete receiver.
And I guess I want to ask you about the big picture of this, because we've talked all week about the impact of Mike Norvell outside of North Carolina. Really hasn't had any wins of note since he's been here. Really, there hasn't been any in the last few years for Florida State. The biggest win for them easily in the last few years, especially considering the opponent in the situation. What does this do for the Mike Norvell era? And then a lot of people asking, obviously, recruiting. It can be nothing but positive. I showed people early the list Langston had up, and it went on for days, the amount of recruits here. So how important are we going to look back at this game in a couple of years and go, this is really where the worm turned?
I mean, you got to hope so if you're a Florida State fan, for sure. And I think there's a good chance it is. I mean, it also it could be the end of the road for Manny Diaz.
No, Ira, we don't like that.
I am just saying. I'm not saying that it's a good thing for Florida State, but that was. I mean, they were all the penalties, all the turnovers, the poor decisions, clocking the ball with 2 seconds left. I mean, I know it's a freshman quarterback, but anyway, But as far as Mike Norvell goes, man, it was enormous. It was, and I think, and we made this. We've been making this point and accurately, and I think most fans believe it. This team hasn't been like the last few years. I mean, they have played hard. They have competed, even when they've lost, even when they made mistakes, just like they made mistakes tonight. So for them to actually break through, it was huge, especially with all those recruits there. I mean, there's videos of Travis Hunter dancing with the players in the locker room. I mean, you couldn't ask for more. I mean, Mike Norvell and this staff gambled twice this season with recruiting. The Notre Dame game and then this game, they brought everybody to these two games. And, they brought, a huge group of recruits. And some people wondered, hey, man, if it doesn't work out, that could blow up in your face. But, man, it could not have worked out any better.
Last thing I want to ask you about, Ira, because we didn't get to see it. They went to break, and they came back, and they showed the midfield kind of scuffle and Miami dancing on the logo. I don't know if you were at the press box. You could have seen the whole thing play out. If you can let the people everybody watching on TV couldn't see what happened there.
Yeah, so at the end of the third quarter, Florida State's players start walking to their sideline. Miami's players, instead of going to their sideline, they kind of just start walking down the middle of the field. And then as they kind of were passing midfield, I mean, they were taking over momentum of the game. And, yeah, they started kind of getting excited. Well, the Florida State players were walking to their sideline and saw it and turned around and started jawing. And Jermaine Johnson and some of those guys were in there. And then, I mean, all of a sudden, man, it looked like it was about to go. But what was cool about it was, and again, I encourage people to watch the interviews after the game. Several of the players, Jermaine Johnson, I think Keir Thomas, several of the players said that moment is something they're never going to forget, because they really felt like, they felt the energy and the intensity of this rivalry and it just, defending their grass. And again, you think back to some of the times in these last few years where Florida State's football team has not done that. I think back to Louisville when they got blown out by Lamar Jackson, and Louisville's Odell Higgins had to go out and kind of start yelling at Louisville's offensive linemen because of the way they were treating FSU's defensive linemen, and just the way NC State guys planting a flag on the Florida guys planting the flag in the field, and NC State guys spitting in the field, and so many times you didn't even see a response. So I think that was good for them to respond. Mike Norvell said, "Look, we got to keep our emotions in check," but I think they did. They defended their grass. They defended their field, but they didn't go crazy and do anything too stupid.
Yeah, if they wouldn't have done anything, then it shows it's an even worse note, in my opinion, to do that. So I know we got a lot of people are going to love going to warchant.com here for the next day or two. We already mentioned you got the Sunday Smash going on tomorrow night with Jeff. So Jeff might not be calling out the posters, I'm thinking, tomorrow. He'll be in a better mood, I'm thinking. So that's always good. We don't need Jeff calling out people out. But
I think we might have to do more tequila shots or something.
That's so right. Wait. Before, you got the post-game wrap coming up, which you can watch on warchant.com here with you and Corey after the game. What kind of shenanigans is Corey going to pull off? Can you give us a preview?
We might need to break out a bong or something. I don't know.
We're not in Colorado. Now, our friend Kyle calls from Colorado. That's fine if we were there. I don't think that's legal in Florida.
It's medicinal.
He's got his card.
Corey's got anxiety.
Oh my gosh! All right, well, guys. Seriously, what do we got coming up on Warchant in the next
tons.
24 hours?
Yeah, tons. Right now, as we speak, Corey's getting his column done. He should have it done soon. Austin's writing a story about that final drive and also the 4th and 14 play, which Mike Norvell said that's a play that they put in for kind of end of game situations. I mean, specifically, it's not a route. It's not a play that they run very often. It's kind of in a situation where, hey, we've got to get a first down of more than 8 to 10 yards. And they ran it perfectly. Pass protection was perfect. Parchment ran it perfect. The ball was right where it needed to be. So Austin's writing a story about that drive. I'm doing a story as well about the defense and how well they played and how Mike Norvell putting his trust in them. Last week he didn't do that. Last week he went for it on that 4th and 4. He didn't let he kind of gambled. He wasn't sure he was going to get the ball back. This week he did. He said, I believe in the defense. They're going to get a stop. Sure enough, they did. And man, they forced 3 turnovers in the first quarter. They had some breakdowns, but I thought it was a really impressive effort by the defense, especially that last stop with Jermaine Johnson. So I'm doing a story about that, and we'll come back with a whole lot more coverage over the next 24 hours for sure.
Yeah, we got so much we could go on. I probably should ask you about the defense too, because, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, people realize Miami was one of the hottest offenses in the country the last few weeks. They were just shredding everybody. And really, in my opinion, when some weird momentum stuff happened in the third quarter, I mean, I thought they did a fantastic job.
Also, last thing, also, man, the crowd was it was so cool to be here again. And I think that was part of Norvell's decision to let the defense go back out there. Is that crowd was, I mean, it was super intense. It wasn't a complete sellout, but man, that crowd was super intense, and that it affected their quarterback, freshman quarterback. In the first half, he had 90 yards passing. He had thrown for 400 yards each of the last few games. I thought the crowd was a big factor, and I think it really it couldn't have been a better night with the end result.
Well, thank you so much, Ira, for your hard work. I'm guessing it's going to be a late night putting out the awesome content. You can only get on warchant.com. And right here on Warchant TV, hit that subscribe. Ira, we're up to 716 likes. I've been trying to push for 1,000. We got to get a late push.
I believe in you guys. You can do it. You can do it.
All right, Ira, we got the stamp of approval for the 5-star.
I'll bring Corey in with the bong, and you guys.
Yes. Yes. If that doesn't do it, nothing will.
Right,
thank you, Ira. Good night. Good work.
Oh my goodness!
Corey knew with the bong? There's always something with Corey.
Who knew that Ira was one of the lost members of the Doobie Brothers?
Oh my gosh! It's going to be scary when they legalize this stuff. It's going to be a few years, and who knows what Corey's going to be doing in the post game, dropping LSD tablets, and who knows what the frick he's going to be doing.
Oh my goodness! It's gotten all libertarian up in here. I don't know how to react to all of what just happened in the last 2 or 3 minutes, but what we'll do instead is pivot back to the phone lines.
Yes, let's do that. We need more reasonable people than us, because we don't know what the heck's going on.
Our guy Josh, if he is still coherent, I'm very proud of him, because he's waited for 70 minutes.
What?
Josh in New York, it's your turn. I'm shutting up. Go ahead.
I would have waited for 3.5 hours if I had to.
Let's go.
This was an incredible game. We didn't do everything perfectly, but like I said last week, everybody needed to relax. We're going to win the next 3, and this is step 1. Florida just gave up 52 points to Stanford. Not Stanford, people, not the Cardinals, but Stanford. I don't even know where that is. I'm from New York. Anyway, for the record, Mike Norvell is 1-0 against our rivals. I don't count Clemson because he didn't coach last year. So for the record, he's 1-0. Jimbo is losing to Ole Miss right now. I'm having a great night right now. Okay. And then and what is missed tonight is that we did this without our best receiver. I think Keyshawn Helton not playing was a big deal. And we did it without him. And I really am so happy. I hate Miami. I hate Florida. We're gonna beat BC. All we have to do is show some guts and just wear some warm clothes, fellas. It's not that bad. I'm from up there. It's not bad. And in my prediction, this is my last prediction. In the next 3 years, Jordan Travis will win us the Orange Bowl. I swear to God. I feel it. It's not just the liquor talking. It is everything going. Love y'all. Love the Noles. Let's kick ass.
Great call, Josh. What are we drinking?
You
cut him off, Tom. Stop cutting him off.
Gene, that was his sign-off. He signed off. Goodbye. I'm done with it. I swear to God, in the next 3 years, here's what we're going to do. We're going to win the Orange Bowl. Let me tell you.
Good draw McGraw over there, man. Boom, you're out.
You're out. It's a travesty.
I appreciate it, man. Josh, great call, man. I love the enthusiasm. I like the prediction, man. I could see little Jordan Travis in a couple of years wrapping up his career, getting the win down in the OB.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, it would be. There's no doubt.
And the like button. Hey, Tom, our push is working. We're up to 838.
There, 838.
838. Let's get 1K. Come on. Did you like this win? If you're watching on an embed, go to the YouTube page directly. Hit that like button at the bottom. There's ways to do it. I didn't run my Roku TV the other day. I can go in there. There's a way to hit the like. If you go to the settings, you can do that.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can do that if you're watching the YouTube on Roku. Man, we're having a fun night. Noles victorious, Tom.
This is
31-28 and broke the streak. So every time, the nice thing about this is, Tom, when a team wins, they win several in a row in this series. That's just the way it goes. Florida State won 7 in a row. No one's at 5 in a row they had lost.
It was
4 in a row, 5
4.
in a row.
I think it was 4. Yeah, but yeah,
I should be adding on to that, whatever it was. So that means Florida State's going to win the next 7, 8. I know Jeff is always, what is he always wanting to get? How many is it? 10?
Yeah, that's the Platinum Bohica, Gene.
The Platinum Bohica. Maybe in our lifetime we can get the Platinum Bohica.
Yeah, that's what Noles basketball is looking to do. Continue that streak against Florida tomorrow at 1 p.m. We'll have coverage for you. Warchant.
Yeah, that's right. So we got Adrian Crawford's going to be down there. So he'll be down there and he'll be doing some videos for us and helping us out down there. So we'd love to have Adrian on the staff. I mean, what a great when I get into basketball, man, they look pretty damn good the other night.
Yeah, they look really good.
Woo!
8 in a row, I do believe, against Florida if they win tomorrow. So, wow. If you're just joining us, because we have a recycled audience, so thousands of people have tuned into this program already, and we really appreciate you joining us on the Warchant Postgame Show. If you like what you see, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because our channel's awesome.
905, Tom.
905. We're pushing it. Let's get to 1,000. Let's do it. Well, you know what? I'll shoot a little bit of scotch if you do 1,000. There you go.
Oh, Tom's going to do a shooter.
Yeah, that's right. Now, a little bit. This is expensive, so you got to do a little bit. But if you're just joining us, here's what we're going to do. We're going to roll the highlights from scratch.
Yeah, let's do a couple of these again. You can never get too many of
these things. So here you go.
There he is. Oh, the spin move. That was the best thing. And RG3 said it on the broadcast. He goes, I've never seen a defensive end make an offensive lineman do a spin move. Do a 360. Watch this. Watch the tackle. He spins him all the way around.
That's what is that? Right there. That's a stick. That's good.
How do you think he's going to like that in the film room? Whip-it-a-doo.
Well, the good news for us is a lot of offensive linemen have bad film against 11, and they're like, what are you going to do? The guy's just really, really good. And here you go. Here's the hit from Akeem Dent over the yes.
Get me some of that.
We got the live speed replay coming to you right now. There it is. That's a hit and a half. Well done. Is it in the Pantheon? No. But was it nice? Absolutely it was. Here's the third down play. I'm gonna roll it back for just a second.
Yep.
All right. So you see Jermaine Johnson. There he is. He's lined up on the right tackle. Okay. This is pursuit, effort, culture, and a will to win. Look at 11. Look, he's at the bottom of the screen. Look at 11. He helps.
And he's pushing forward, and he's gonna, like you said, Tom. You made a great point. He may not pick up the first down, but he's gonna get that so close that Diaz is gonna be tempted to go for it. It's a big difference between 4th and 1 and 4th and 2.
Because you know what? Manny Diaz went on a 4th and 6 after we had a gunner run into the kicker earlier in this football game. He went for it on a 4th and 6, and they converted. Great play by Van Dyke and Rambo. It was a back shoulder. And then there was a 4th and 2 on the same drive that Diaz went for. That was the first play of the fourth quarter. So if you get to 4th and a yard, who knows? Maybe they try to win the game.
Well, he was pretty ballsy all day long on 4th down. So
he was actually, and let me stop the clip here one more time, Jim, because when we're talking about the logo stuff, at the end, you could see this on the broadcast. At the end of the third quarter, Manny's the one that's racing outside the numbers. He's on the playing field, Gene.
Oh,
he's racing outside the numbers down the field. I think that's what instigates this whole thing, is that Manny is so fired up, his players spill off of the sidelines onto the field, and that's where you get what you get. Now, this is the key play that gets that final drive going. This is Jordan dropping back and throwing a dime to Ja'Kai Douglas, who's running out of the slot, out-breaking route, out and up. That's if you're running a scissors concept, that's what you want on the outside.
Tom, was that the same route that Parchment did, or is that slightly different? Earlier,
different. It looked like Parchment was just on a fly.
Okay.
I think Parchment was just standing out there and he ran a fly. This was an out-breaking route from the slot.
Oh,
actually,
I see. Yeah.
It's not too dissimilar from Fryer's route that Ward hit him with in '93. We just went over that. It's a similar route.
Where's Rohan Marley? If that was Rohan Marley, he would have caught him. He would have scored.
So this is all of us. This was all of us tonight for a good 30, 45 minutes. Look at those people. We were that. Yes. Young folks, young people, we feel you. That's where we were. And here it is, 4th and 14. the play of the game. I mean, my goodness, look at the decisiveness on that throw, Gene.
Look at the tackle on there, like riding his guy so far out of the picture, man.
Oh man, this game was unbelievable. We felt like we couldn't lose for an hour and a half. We felt like we couldn't win for an hour, and then for the last half an hour, we didn't know what the hell was going to happen. And then about 3 minutes to enjoy the fact that we were ahead. This puts us ahead. The scramble. What the hell am I saying? Sneak. That's the Lefroy talking. That's a sneak from Jordan Travis. We get the 2-point conversion. We're up 31-28, and that's.
And I'm so glad the clock actually worked in FSU favor because I see this stuff all the time. We've seen it in games. You have a chance to close out the game at the end. You score too quick. Yep. And look, you always, like you said, when Ja'Kai goes down the sideline, you're like, yeah, go ahead and score. You're right. I would have taken it to score at the time because you never know. Heck, they had a 4th and 14. They might not have done it. But you always hate giving that team the ball back with plenty of time left and a couple timeouts. So it's so nice when you get that go-ahead score with what is it, 30 seconds left, 32 seconds, something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever was left. And Miami had to use their timeouts. So there's no timeouts left. So that was
frankly, it looked like Mike wanted Jordan to wait a little bit longer before the snap. That's okay. Maybe you caught Miami off guard because they were waiting for the play clock to run down. Either way, you got the job.
I'm curious on this. So Miami had the offsides on 2nd down. So they took the offsides, and the official went to Mike. You know, it's the option to say go ahead and not start it because he told him something like start the clock,
roll it. Yeah.
So he could have taken the option to them not to start the clock. Is that an option he had to do?
Yes, a defensive penalty can stop the clock.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good. No, I'm glad. I'm glad he was aware enough. Oh, and on the what was the other one? The spike at the end of the game. They spiked with 2 seconds left.
Yes.
And it looked like the officials, Flanagan and his crew, didn't know that was the rule because I saw Mike going to him to Flanagan throwing the 3. Yes. Like, dude, the rule is this. You should know the freaking rules, Flanagan. And he didn't know, right? They were going to go ahead and let him run another play.
Looks like you're giving us the trident. But yeah, that was I believe there was a West Coast game that either created that rule or was the first time that rule cropped up.
Was Flanagan the same idiot who Jimbo had to explain the rule? Remember the Miami game down there when they screwed up the call on the late at the end of the game? I thought that was Flanagan also that screwed that up.
It might have been, but I can tell you that Flanagan was most certainly the head official for 10 years ago, the Nigel Bradham hit over the middle on LaRon Bird that Everett Dawkins picked off on that play. And I recall that Flanagan was the official because I remember walking by him and giving him the look of death after that game was over as I was covering the game for a different outlet at that time, but I'm much more happy here.
By the way, we are closing in 981 likes, and I'm going to cheat. I'm going to give us a like. 982.
982. John, we appreciate your contribution. We have so
much. Oh, John. Awesome.
Still locked into this program. Gene's enjoying an Oyster City Hooter Brown on steroids, which if you know what Hooter Brown is in terms of ABV, that's strong. I'm enjoying some single malt scotch. What are you enjoying out there? Tell us in the comment section right here on Warchant TV. We now go, I will say to Terry, no new callers. We have full phone lines right now, and we're going to get to everybody who's on hold. So everybody who's been waiting, we appreciate your patience. We're going to get to each and every one of you.
1K! Woo! Tom's got to do his shooter.
All right, after this
1K,
call.
that pushed us over the edge. We got 1K.
After this call,
baby!
Corey Clark, if you're watching, I don't know that I'll meet you at the corner pocket. I don't know. I might have to stay home
too, Tom. I'm gonna have to Uber up there. My wife dropped me off. So
it's Uber or nothing. There's no doubt about that. People, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid tonight. Enjoy your win,
but celebrate responsibly. It's all good.
All right, we go to Bristol, and we're going to talk to John. John, is this Bristol, Tennessee, or Bristol, Connecticut? Where are you from?
I'm Bristol, Florida, about an hour away.
Oh, Bristol, Florida. I didn't know that existed. Well, welcome, John. Go ahead.
Appreciate it. Hey, first off, I want to say, man, Jordan Travis has got to have probably the best cadence in the history of football because I know what Miami jumped offside no less than 100 times. And second of all, it seemed like the refs, you couldn't really tell it by all the penalty yardage, but it seems like they let them play the game for the most part in this game, and I really appreciated that. That was something to see.
Yeah, no, agreed, John. This was a game for the most part that the officials let the guys play. Downfield, there was some contact on multiple plays. We didn't like it in the end zone on, what was it, second down that Jordan Travis threw to the left side of the end zone.
Yeah, that probably should have been interference, but
we probably would have. I did isolate that play, Gene, in case we needed it in the way of a loss. But by and large, the officials let these guys play unless there was something egregious, like a pre-snap penalty or a face mask or something along those lines. And that, really, our first touchdown drive, you have the long run from Trayshawn Ward. But how many penalties did Miami commit on that drive alone? Like 3 offsides? I mean, my goodness. That was a terrible, terrible start for Miami. And they ended up, I'll take a look at the stats here, but they were well over 100 yards in penalties tonight. There's no doubt about that. Let's see. I'm looking through the numbers. And
14 for 104.
There you
105. Go. 14 for 105 on Miami. And I think they had it was probably close to 10 at halftime.
Yes.
I mean, it was nuts. But it wasn't like they were, there's no really questionable ones. They were offsides or they grabbed the face mask. They hit a guy out of bounds. It wasn't like Miami was getting the calls. They were all very obvious. One
of the key ones in the second half was, I believe it was on our field goal drive. It was hands to the face on the Miami defensive line. That was Dylan Gibbons, who had the handful. He had his face mask just completely pushed up to the sky. But we would have been either in a measurement situation for a 4th and short or we get the first down. But instead, we get the ball a little bit deeper into Miami.
That's a good stat. Thank you, Blue.
Yeah, there it is. 46 rushing yards. And that felt like it. There are some games where stats trick you. Knighton's big play came on a pass, which they schemed that up. They isolate him against a linebacker. We make a bad decision, and the next thing you know, we miss a tackle and he scores. But Jalen Knighton never really got going, Gene. His 0 to 60 is exceptional, but he wasn't allowed to. Well done by the defensive line.
They bottled him up. And by the way, FNF, boy forever, this is Midnight the Oasis, which is a bourbon barrel aged Hooter Brown. So it's like I said, Hooter Brown on steroids. But I'm loving it. I'm loving every drip of it. It's fantastic.
New York, Noel, we appreciate
Thank you.
Okay, so you know how strong Scotch is. This is enough for a shooter. Trust me, it's in there. It's in there. I'll say
we believe you, Tom.
Yeah, all right. So salud, sloncha, salud.
Cheers.
Oh, to 1,000 likes. That's supposed to be enjoyed a lot slower.
For 1,000 likes. Now, if we get to 5,000 likes, Tom's going to chug the whole bottle.
Well, actually, you know what? I will agree to that, Gene, because I've had this bottle for over 4 years. So
okay, well, there you go. See?
If we get to 5,000 likes, I'll chug the rest of it. There you go.
All right.
We go to a frequent caller of the Warchant Postgame Show. His name is Gene, just like our own Gene Williams. He's in Ocala, and we talk to him most every week, and we are thankful to do so. Gene, welcome to the program.
Gene, Tom, go Noles. What's going on, baby?
Go Noles. Hey, Gene.
What's up, Gene?
Oh, man, what a great win. What a great win. I was telling the guy that took the phone call that, you really don't want to complain about anything tonight. My only thing was, sometimes in that third quarter, the way that the offensive play calling was going, it started to hurt my heart because we had so many opportunities like we did last week. It just seemed like sometimes Dilly gets into this lulling you to sleep where it looks like he doesn't understand. But you really can't complain, just like Gene said earlier, whenever you got to win against this university that hated people from the South Florida. You'll take it. If it was 1.5 to 1, you'll take that win. Great win for the Noles. Thank you guys for what you do. I'm sitting here enjoying some Cavassier over the win. So just sipping and listening and just enjoying this win. It won't be 5 in a row. They tried to talk it up. We got a good win tonight, and hopefully we can go ahead and, like the other caller said, get these rest 2, get 6 and 6, and have a good one. Just great win for those guys. Thank you guys for what you do, and go Noles.
Hey, thank you, Gene.
Well, thank you, Gene. Good call. Always like Gene calling in, man. He's loving it, but he's level-headed. He gets it, and the importance of this game. Yeah, I mean, it's what this fan base needed. It's what this coaching staff needed. Yeah. And I think it's a signature win. I think it's really going to help Mike Norvell accomplish what he needs going forward because now he's got proof of concept. You have it there. It's right. We saw it tonight.
Yep. Yeah. There'll be another test of maturity next week when they go on the road to Chestnut Hill and play Boston College.
How do you respond emotionally to this game against a big rival at home and going? We're going to be favored. So this is a new thing, being a road favorite in the ACC for Mike Norvell.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too, Gene, that we've gotten to a place now with this culture that I expect them to show up and play hard. That's something we couldn't say for about 5 years. We're like, I'm not worried about that part of it. We always had to worry about that part of it. I'm no longer worried. I don't think they're going to get too big for their britches this week. I think they know that there is still, especially since you didn't qualify for a bowl today. You beat your in-state rival. You got a huge win. You're going to celebrate. It's great, but you didn't accomplish getting to a bowl. If they make a bowl after going 0-4 and they finish 6-2 to finish the season, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
with this group, this amount of talent, and the injuries that we've suffered, the attrition, man, this coaching staff, take a bow tonight. Take a bow. I know we've got time to complain and nitpick about certain things. And certainly we have here on the Warchant Postgame Show, but tonight ain't that night, folks. We now go to Coral Springs, and we're going to talk to Matt on the Warchant Postgame Show. Matt, welcome to the program.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Oh, hey, man. Matt. How you doing?
I just took a shot of scotch. How you doing?
Oh, man. I tell you what, down in South Florida, it's just so tough being down here, being a Nole for the last couple of years, with all these Canes guys. They just come up and down as, they're just bandwagon guys. And it's just real tough to be a Nole. But tonight was special. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah. No, it certainly was. Do you have any further comments or questions, Matt, or is
that?
Yeah,
so I just wanted to touch on a couple things.
Sure.
You mentioned the Matt Fryer catch down 93. I still can visualize that. That's funny you bring that up, and I don't know if it's necessarily Matt Fryer in 93, but man, it looked a lot like it. That's one thing. Another thing, these South Florida kids, Chair Thomas. He wasn't really heavily recruited by us, but he wanted to come down and, he wanted to come in as a high school player, and he went to South Carolina, but he ended up at Florida State. And, man, he's shown up for the Noles this year, as well as Malcolm Ray was not necessarily a big time recruit, and Jarvis Brownlee decommitted from UM and came to Florida State. Those guys, I tell you what, these guys are these are foundation guys, and, we got to really appreciate them. And then I guess the last thing I want to say is just Jermaine Johnson, forget about it. That kid could have he could have packed it in 6 games in and just said, look, I'm going to make my money and just forget it. But he is playing his ass off. And
you can say it.
We got to remember that, because I think in 2 or 3 years, Norvell is the guy. And in 2 or 3 years, let's just say 2 years, we're going to have the guys in here and we're going to be back to where we should be. And Jermaine Johnson is one of those kids that is a foundation kid. And we got to remember that. We got to really remember that. And same thing with Keir Thomas. Some of these South Florida kids, especially today, man, that's such a huge win for them. And as a 35-year Nole alum, booster, I can't be happier. I'm telling you, I'm so happy right now. It's just, it's crazy to just think that, honestly, I can, for the next 364 days, I can walk around, talking some smack to some of my friends. So that's fun.
There you go, Matt. That's a good place to be. We appreciate.
Yeah, he mentioned some of those foundation guys, and we brought up earlier Maureen Cooper and the kind of game he has, and to start having a guy that could be, a shutdown for you, a young guy showing out like he did tonight. Boy, he's come a long way. No one even thought of this guy a few weeks ago. Now suddenly he's out there making plays all over the place and shutting people down, and that is a really encouraging sign going forward, because, the first play Van Dyke had was a trick play. It was a reverse throw. And you mentioned a couple of those crazy ass throws he had when coverage was very tight. There were very few broken plays where guys just were getting beat down the field for the most part. So, really props for that secondary. They've come a long way from this point a year ago. Remember that Louisville game and Pitt game last year, Tom, how ugly that was?
Well, I thought Ira alertly pointed out the 2016 Louisville game, where Louisville is challenging us and goading us to a fight, and we didn't want to respond. And Odell Higgins is the only person who, at the time, he still had a bad knee. He's like the only dude who had the heart to fight back. We did between the third and fourth quarter. That speaks to the emotion and the culture and the buy-in, but then also, you're right, Gene, the aptitude of the secondary is a lot better. I was a little disappointed about that flea flicker, because Miami runs one a week, and that's pretty much the same thing they ran against Pitt. It's a tough assignment because Mallory looks like he's into block for that particular play, and then he releases late, but it was on Kevin Noles. But that's a freshman learning a lesson. The other thing I'd say, it's not the same thing for Fryer. The play's not the same because it's not a broken play. Charlie Ward broke the pocket, rolled right, made the throw. Jordan was standing tall in the pocket, made the throw down the field. And also, on the Matt Fryer play, it was a scissors concept. So you had an out-breaking route from the slot, and then he had a post that took the safety in over the middle. This was different. But anyway, I'm getting into the minutia. Also, my pal over here, Nopotal, I guess. Nopotal. Yes, I'm turning red for a couple reasons. Number one, I agree. It's the Lefroy. Number two, my wife, Jamie, who is not here, or else she would have brought...
I was waiting for her appearance to come out.
She was at a football season wedding, Gene. A football season wedding. I know. Ridiculous. She has aggressive heat temperatures in the house, and the heat's kicked on because it's gotten cool here in Tallahassee. The sweatshirt was a bad decision, but I got to rock the Nole gear. You don't want to see the what's going on under here. So that's why I'm turning red, my friend. And New York Nole, this is the third contribution tonight. If I'm
counting. New York Nole's feeling it. Thank you.
So we really appreciate you, and we love that logo for the Seminole Club of New York. I was actually at one of their bars in June, and they got a good setup up there for game day. So hopefully you support those on Saturdays, and you will do so hopefully next Saturday against Boston College. I believe our next caller, Mr. Wes in the Villages, wants to talk about momentum for the last couple of games. Wes, what's up? Welcome to the postgame show.
What's going on, fellas? How about that win? Cheers.
How about it?
Man, how about a roller coaster of emotions with that game? My goodness. I had to break out the defibrillator there at the end.
You weren't alone, man. What do you think? What do you think? You want to talk about momentum? Is that where we're going tonight?
Yeah, I mean, you guys touched on it about the recruits. I was at the Notre Dame game, and I couldn't make it up today. I wish I had been. I probably would have had to been on the stretcher carried out of there. But, it had to be I think a lot of people are concerned about that. We all talk about that 2022 recruiting class, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's holding on by a thread. And, there hasn't really been any major decommitments. And so you feel like after that win, the difference in winning that game and losing that game, to me, solidifies that class to where nobody else decommits, and you end up getting, if I had to guess, I saw a tweet by Ryan Bartow, and it was a little bit cryptic, but I get the feeling there might have been 2 or 3 silent commits after that game. And so, in my opinion, irregardless of how these next 2 games go, which I believe we obviously have a chance to win both of them, and like you said earlier, to finish out 6-2, make a bowl, like insanity, sign me up. But I just feel like that the program, this was a defining moment, in my opinion. If you lose and the way the game played out, it just would have been devastating, I think. And the fact that you pull it off in dramatic fashion, you couldn't have really asked for anything more. And so going forward, continuing to build and grow, I really feel like it was a defining moment. And you guys mentioned earlier, we had a 7-game win streak from, I think, 2011 to 2016 or 2010 to 2016. So we had 7 in a row. They had 4. And we obviously have just ended that streak. So time to start it over and get us a little streak going. So, I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on all that, because it obviously was just dramatic and to me, impactful. And anyway, I know you guys got a couple other calls. I was, hoping to get in. I tried. I must have called 100 times trying to get in, so I'm glad I snuck in there. And you guys have a good evening. I'll cut a promo on the way out. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up if you haven't done it already. Awesome job getting over 1,000. Everybody subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as Warchant.com, the best in the business. Support Zaxby, support DeLuna, Team Paper. Get in on all that. Y'all have a good evening. Go Noles.
Thank you, Wes. Well, I'm glad he got in despite calling 100 times. It just wouldn't be a post-game show without Wes from the Villages. And one of the staples, one of the pillars. Thank you so much, Wes, for calling in, and some good comments there. And Tom, there's something I want to bring up here. Look, special teams didn't lose you the game, and I think that's one thing we would go when we said we didn't want them to lose you the game. Now, they were winning the punting battle a little bit, I would say, their punter versus now. Our guy did have the good punt down the end to pin him down, although immediately Van Dyke made that crazy-ass throw.
Unbelievable.
To get him out from against the wall. But here's the thing, what I was screaming, and it's going to go, no one's going to bring it up, but I got to bring it up. The last time they punted and we didn't field the punt and let it bounce, and it fortuitously rolls into the end zone by about a foot.
Yeah.
I mean, or that thing, they get that thing down at the 1, FSU's not bringing that thing out of there, and they lose the game. So that was a little bit, now Miami got lucky as hell, let's say, but again, the whole thing of not fielding punts.
Yeah.
Were you screaming at the time when he did not field that punt on the 12-yard line or wherever it was?
It almost looked like body language-wise he was going to catch it off of his chest plate and fumble it, so I didn't know what was going to happen. I don't expect good things to happen, Gene.
I guess if that's the case, if you think you're going to fumble, get the F out of there. Don't even try.
When it bounced, it was one of those moments that time stops. It's like watching The Matrix for the first time, or a Zack Snyder film, and you're just seeing it and you're like, come on, get in the end zone, get in the end zone. And then when it did, I breathed a sigh of relief. But You know that usually, Gene, I'm the minutia guy, but I didn't remember that until you brought it up. That was a key moment there. Mm-hmm. Every inch matters.
People are going to forget about that play, but I don't know if that happens if they down that thing. And it took for once. I made the comment earlier myself. I'm sitting here watching. It seems like when they would get those bounces, when they got the one, when it went down the sideline, they downed it at the one. I'm like, why does it never seem to work out for Florida State?
Correct. Yeah, that particular one where it bounced at the 10-yard line and got to inside the 2 or whatever it was. Yeah, that was actually we ran a great play to hit a big throw over the middle to get some breathing room there too.
Yeah, we did. We got out of there at least.
That was another big throw from Jordan. I think that was on first down. They went empty on first down out of their end zone. I forgot about that sequence. We ran empty there. I was like, what are we doing? It was a sidearm throw from Jordan Travis. I didn't blame Pokey for that one, because it was angled so far away that you got to let that go. And it's just, it seems like every bounce that can go against us in special teams does, Gene. But we make our own bad luck in those circumstances too. I thought it wasn't a game where it wasn't a headliner. We've had a couple where it was a headliner, but that certainly was not tonight. Anyway,
but the point was that the person who put that up, thank you. But it didn't lose you the game, and I think we all went into this going, just don't let special teams lose you the game. And it did. We missed a long field goal, but whatever.
That one I thought, God, you're giving them good field position for no reason. That was a tough one. We can discuss that more, I suppose, as the week rolls on. But it was a win tonight. So final 2 callers on the Warchant Postgame Show. We'll see if we can get to 5,000 likes. So I got to finish my Scotch bottle.
They're gonna go. We're on 1.1K, so they got a ways to go.
All right, that's good. Thankfully, I don't need any more. Trust me. I think you all can tell that out there too. We go to Miami and we're talking to KC and Sarah. Okay, we got a group call. All right, bring it, guys.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're doing all right. How are you?
We're doing great. I'm going to go first because my husband is a super fan, so I'm just going to say what I got to say and keep it short. But I was a born and raised UM fan until I went up to FSU and graduated and met my husband in Tallahassee. And man, does it feel good to have you for the next year. Man, oh man. Okay, here's my husband.
Thanks, Sarah. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Casey. I'm C_Swizzle8 on Warchant.com. And let me tell you, this feels amazing. And I can't really ask for much more, but all I got to say is, how about Amarion Cooper? How about
yes?
They're pulling it through. And a lot of people that doubt the defense. Let me tell you, when I saw that, it flipped the switch for me. So let me tell you, I'm excited. And let me tell you, we're down here in the 305, and we cannot wait.
Repping the Noles, baby.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
By the way, I was named after Casey Weldon. Just to put
awesome.
Oh. Yes, sir. So,
he was a quarterback back when I was in school.
Thank you guys so much for everything you guys do. I listen to everything that you possibly could put out. So let me, follow Warchant TV on YouTube.
Wake up, Warchant.
Hell yeah. The Luna Coffee, everything. All the above. Like and subscribe.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Sarah. You guys
Sarah and Casey, you guys are awesome, man. Enjoy your partying down to 305 and give those Canes hell for the next 365 days. Hopefully for the next 4 or 5 years. Hopefully we'll start a new streak down there.
There you go. Thank you to both of you. That was a great call. And I think that's what a lot of living rooms and bars and all kinds of areas where Nole fans sound like tonight. That you could just hear the joy in their voice. And, Gene, that's what a rivalry win will do for you. It just puts a pep in your step, not just for that night, but for several days after.
New York Noles will not stop, Tom.
If he let's go Noles. All right. Well, I'm gonna break the mic if I yell too loud. I've got a good voice. Let's go Noles. There you go.
We'll see if that was loud enough. We'll judge.
Loud enough? I'll even give you the Ferris Bueller.
Let's go Noles.
You're welcome. It's getting weird here on the Warchant Postgame Show. Our final caller of the night. We go out to Nebraska, the state in which there was a football team we beat in the 94 Orange Bowl, the 93 season to win our first national title. We go to Charles out of Nebraska. What's up, Charles? Welcome to the program.
Yes, sir. I like to remind all my Nebraska buddies about 93 all the time. But how about them Noles tonight? And if you're a lifelong Florida State fan like myself, you understand where I'm coming from here. And I see you, Jordan Travis.
Yeah.
But I'm going to switch the script a little bit here. And we pulled the big in-state rival win tonight. Do we do it again tomorrow at noon?
Oh, well, if recent history tells you anything, Charles, then absolutely. We're on our way to 10 in a row.
We've owned that gate ass.
What would you think the chances are? Mike White, listen, Leonard Hamilton adopted Mike White a long time ago. That's his son. What do you think?
Oh, yes, sir. I've got Noles by 15 plus tomorrow.
Ooh, all right.
15 plus. Wow, I like it.
Hey,
I'll take it. You know what? You're down in Gainesville. I'll take a 1-point win. Just keep the streak going.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Charles. Yeah, we're looking for a rivalry sweep on the weekend for the Noles football team and the Hoops team. You beat Florida on a Sunday after beating Miami on a Saturday evening. That's a really good weekend. You might
make a fun week.
You might call out on a Monday if you're a Nole. We can't because we'll be covering stuff right here on Warchant TV. Remember, if you haven't heard yet, there is a show, 7 p.m. It gets fun on a Sunday night. It's called Sunday Smash. It's hosted by our own Ira Chaffel and Jeff Cameron. That's coming up on Warchant TV tomorrow at 7 p.m. If you had fun tonight, you're going to have a whole hell of a lot of fun tomorrow because guess what they got to do when the show begins? They got to shoot tequila to start the show.
Woo!
Ira breaks out the Don Julio. Jeff has whatever brand he's got. And then for the next 59 minutes, they take your questions and interact with you. So remember, tomorrow night, Sunday Smash, 7 p.m. right here on Warchant TV.
Hey, score update, Tom. Let's see. Texas A&M Jimbo's being shut out now. We're late in the third. Oh, no, it's 10 minutes left in the third quarter. 15-0 Ole Miss.
Wow. Okay. It is not bamboo time in Aggieland.
No.
One thing we want to remind you folks before we sign off tonight, it's our friends at teampaper.com. Teampaper.com supports Florida State athletes in a way that is now on the up and up in the era of the NIL. 80% of every dollar you donate, that's 80 cents on the dollar, goes right into the pockets of Florida State football athletes. Upwards of 20 Seminoles belong to the teampaper.com program. At Team Paper, they believe that the NIL should benefit more than just the star players. And so if you want to support your favorite players, go to teampaper.com, use code WARCHANT at checkout to get $10 off the Tallahassee bundle. If you don't want the discount and you want more money to go to the players, we understand that too. But teampaper.com is rolling out Florida State elements, not just for football, but for basketball and softball as well. We'll see if the soccer program becomes a part of the Team Paper program as we go down the line. But they've supported us at warchant.com. We've had a lot of sad post-game shows. This is a happy one. And when we're happy, we got to thank the people that support us, like you, the viewers, like you, the commenters, contributors, and callers, and like our sponsors at teampaper.com. So, Gene, I give you the floor for some final thoughts that are induced by some Oyster City before we sign off tonight. But it's been a ride. This has been the best one we've had so far on the Warchant post-game show, and it's not even close, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a great win for the Noles. It's a big win for Mike Norvell, who, like I said, was borderline going to be close to being on the hot seat, depending on how these last couple games played out. So, I mean, I think this justifies what he's doing, legitimizes it for, the fans. I mean, I'm sure Michael Alford was probably cheering louder than anybody, because what does this do for the booster contributions going to the offseason? Assuming maybe again, we think, look, they could win the last two. But let's go to medium. They probably win one out of the next two. But still, that gives you so much momentum going into the offseason for booster contributions, for recruiting. Again, I think we could look back at this game and go, this is the moment. We saw the team get better, but they finally got that signature win in front of a home crowd, a national audience, in front of, something like 100 recruits. It's big. It's really, really big for this program, and they needed this. And I'm very happy for Mike Norvell. I'm happy for the FSU fans that they have this now. And, man, it's a good time to be an Nole because you can feel it. You can feel things are changing finally. The last few years have been really – Tom, we were here all the time.
Yeah.
It's hard to cover this team when they're this bad. I mean, what happened last year and during the last phases of the Willie Taggart era, man, it was ugly. It was really hard to get up and have to tell people, write about this program, talk about this program.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, there's something you can hang your hat on now. You can legitimately hang your hat and go, look, he's moving things in the right direction. You saw the product on the field. Look, not a great Miami team, but a team that was on a roll. They'd won 3 in a row. They were putting up huge numbers. And my final thought on this was, and I came here, I will admit I'm wrong. About a month ago, I said, I think Adam Fuller needs to go.
Yeah.
I may say I'm wrong on that because but I did say, probably, but I go, give him the end of the season, see what he does. The defense is significantly better than it was a month ago. I mean,
yes. Yeah,
Miami was held. This is the lowest they've been held since Alabama. I'm not sure going stat-wise and all the numbers. I haven't looked at that, but it might be the lowest they've been held. And this is also with FSU fumbling deep in their own end for one drive, a fluky tip pass on third down. They stopped that series, and they managed that, and they came up with stops when they need to have stops. So, I mean, that defense and Adam Fuller's come a long way. And this was Lashley, who has owned his ass until this game. And now he had the laugh this time. He got the better of Lashley in this one. So, props to you, Adam Fuller. I think you've proved enough at this point that you're going to be back and you'll be the defensive coordinator.
A lot of winners tonight in the Florida State athletics department, coaching staff, players. I'm happy for the players first. This is an easy team to root for.
Yeah,
and we really
good kids.
Yeah, we really appreciate all the hard work they put in, and I'm glad to see them rewarded before their time is up here at FSU. Enjoy the hell out of tonight, guys, and support staff and Adam Fuller, everybody. You deserve it. Take a bow. Take a bow tonight. New York Noles. Before we sign off, New York Noles says I can do better with the. So, Gene, I don't know if you want to remove your headset so I don't break your eardrums.
Yeah, people, turn your volume down.
All right, here you go. Let's go, Noles! There you go.
Was
that better?
New York Nole. Yeah, that was it. That was it. I loved it. Oh, I got to see this. This happened. Thank you, Josh, for putting this out there. I got to see Travis Hunter doing the upside down U. He's all in. If he's doing that, he wants a piece of that U. He wants to be part of that winning streak we just talked about. 5 in a row. He wins the next 4. He probably won't last that long because we'll go to the pros. Next 3, and to get wins against you every time, and he can flash that upside down U every time he gets the win.
Our sincere thanks to everybody who participated in the show tonight in the chat, our callers, our contributors. Vishal led the way. Everybody who contributed, also, we're so thankful for your support at warchant.com. If you haven't hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, what are you waiting for? You had a good time tonight, didn't you? This is 2 hours strong of a great program. Remember, tomorrow, Sunday Smash, 7 p.m. Head to warchant.com between now and then for unbelievable content from the recruiting news to the team news, basketball news, everything in between. Warchant.com is where you want to be. The rest is silence for us in just a moment, but we're not going to end the show yet until I should say, we show you some key plays from down.
Yes, let's do it.
So we're going to do that. Gene and I are signing off. We will talk to you guys around 3:30, 4 o'clock next week for the Warchant Postgame Show after FSU.
Hey, cheers. Thank you, everybody, for your support.
Good night, everybody. Here we go.